to save it for the show.
Sure.
I have finished The Sopranos.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what do you think? Well, spoilers, I guess.
Okay, yeah, so spoilers for 2 minutes, guys. So if you haven't watched The Sopranos, go watch it.
Mm.
That's all I'll say. I think Jay agrees. What do I think?
What do you think of the last episode, the last 10 minutes? What do you think?
So here's the thing, Jay. I was always under the impression that Tony Soprano died on screen.
Okay.
And he doesn't.
No.
It cuts to black. I know that it cuts to black. I knew that it cut to black. I didn't know when.
See, I didn't know if you knew that. That's why I didn't want to say anything.
Oh, okay. No, I knew it cut to black. I just didn't know when or where.
Okay.
I felt it came to a natural conclusion.
Yeah.
And I felt fulfilled, and
yeah, me
like,
too.
the story had come to an end. And I have concluded that I don't think there's any character in that who. It's difficult because they're all evil, but you can't help but like them.
Yeah,
and that's what the show does so brilliantly.
People, they're human. They're human people.
Yeah,
like they've still got lives. They still live, and try to get by however they can. Whether they're justified in doing what they're doing, that's up to you.
Yeah. And for me, now watching The Sopranos, almost every single huge TV show following it. So Dexter. I mean, that might start at the similar time. I don't know. Dexter, Breaking Bad is absolutely all Tony Soprano, without a shadow of a doubt. Like, Breaking Bad to me is very much like, if you go back and watch episode 1 of Breaking Bad, you realize, oh my god, he has the template. Like, he is bad from the beginning. Watching it though, you're constantly like, oh no, he'll get better. Like, he'll get better, and you keep thinking like, oh no, he means well, but you're like, he's fooling the viewer the whole time, right? And Tony Soprano's doing exactly the same thing. Like, you're constantly like, no, he's better than this. Like, no, he actually is a good guy. And then by the end, you're like, nope, he is evil. He is an evil man. And I think that's what it does so well, to be honest. What did you think of the ending, Jay? What did you...
Yeah, no, I liked it. I think a lot of people had a lot of problems with it. Like, oh my god, I didn't really, Sure. I think a lot of people have problems with endings to shows or movies where they let you decide what happened.
Yeah.
But I both love and hate that. I have a love-hate relationship with that type of ending.
Yeah, me too.
I think it just depends on the subject more than anything else.
What do you think happened in the end, Jay?
What do I think what happened?
Yeah.
I think I've got like two theories. Either he got shot, or they shot the place up, but then he survived and lived his life how he would have done.
So you definitely think they're there to cause some chaos?
Well, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
100%.
I watched a quick YouTube video on some theories, and after watching like one or two, I was like, he absolutely dies. In my opinion,
yeah, I think
he is absolutely dead.
I think what HBO wanted to do with that was to make it seem like, to make it quite. They didn't want to, I guess not necessarily like spend the money on the scene of what would have happened, but rather than actually give you the satisfaction or not of whether like the scene of him dying, or they'd let your imagination do it for you, just so they could maybe they were scared of how they were going to end it because they knew how good it was, so they just wanted to make it. They basically gave the audience the opportunity to end it for themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I feel like a lot of shows do that.
Yeah, they definitely do now, I think.
I'm pretty sure the prequel or the sequel to Sopranos is being done.
Yeah, so goes the rumor. Just leave it alone, man. Just stop. I mean, look, I didn't create it. Apparently, the David Chase, the creator, is involved, so obviously he can do whatever he wants, clearly.
Yeah, so The Many Saints of Newark, it is coming out March 12th next year. I think it was supposed to come out 25th of September this year. It's not coming out until March 12th next year now. It's a film, not a series. It's a film. It's a prequel film to Sopranos, I want to say.
Do you think they filmed it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've done it now. It's got, I think his son is in it.
Really?
So who's what's his name?
James Gandolfini.
Yeah, I think his real son is playing a young version of him.
Okay.
I want to say. I could be completely wrong about that. I have to read some more on it.
Well, let's be open-minded, I think, is the main thing to take away from that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, Michael Gandolfini. There you go.
Okay.
Gandolfini. Yeah, his son, I want to say.
Cool. All right, Jay. So let's get right into it, man. This is the TGO Show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Nick, along with my co-host, Jay.
Yeah.
I should say co-host. I'm a co-host. Jay's a co-host. You're a co-host. Now we've got a lot to talk about, Jay. A lot of things to go through. In line with what we spoke about last week, I've got some games that I'm very excited to be playing with you, sir. And hopefully there's some good fun. So we've got a lot of stuff to go through. I'm really excited about it, man. We've got a lot of Assassin's Creed. As Mark has joked, it should be called the Creed cast. While he is correct, there is a lot of Assassin's Creed. It will die down. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I mean, well, it'll die down until Valhalla comes out, and there'll be a
exactly that. More. But then, as soon as we complete Valhalla, that'll be it, pretty much. So,
well, for a while, yeah, for at least 2 years, I imagine.
Exactly. Enjoy it while it lasts, people. So, Jay, you've been playing a very interesting game, divisive game. So, last week you told us you were playing Death Stranding. So, do you want to give us an update of what's going on there?
Yeah. So, I think last week I had about 8 hours in, probably.
Yeah, something like that.
So I just started, and it's weird actually. The time kind of went when I was playing this. I think the second time I checked it, there was like 28 hours. So somehow I managed to get 20 hours, and without me really noticing. I was always under the impression that this game took like hundreds of hours to complete, which I think is a load of bull, really.
Okay.
Because it isn't. Definitely doesn't take that long. So that initially sort of made me a bit like worrisome. But I think people just said that just because there is that much there. You could definitely play the game for hundreds of hours, but you definitely don't have to. Especially if you want to do the main story. The main story takes about 40, I'd say.
Platinum-wise, would that be the hundreds of hours we're talking about?
I mean, maybe. I'd probably say somewhere closer to between 60 and 80.
Okay.
But probably closer to the 60 than the 80. Just depends on how much you've done during the story. If you did a lot of preparation in the story, you can actually finish it, probably get platinum quite quickly afterwards. I definitely probably could have got platinum by now if I'd keep playing it, but I actually stopped playing it after I did the story. Just cause, I'm not like I fell out of the mood of it or anything, it's just that I didn't really feel like playing it. Which I know kind of sounds like the same thing. But yeah, I needed a bit of a break again, I guess.
So yeah, so you've completed it, Jay. So
I have.
What are your thoughts, man?
Well, I don't really want to say too much because I imagine you will play this eventually.
Eventually.
I think, yeah, I don't really want to say too much. All I will say is that I was very impressed. Very, very impressed. I even messaged you saying I think my top 10 might need a bit of a reshuffle.
Yeah, you did.
Honestly, I think it's probably one of the most unique original stories I've ever played. Like it's magical, like depressingly magical. I don't know. It's just so different. Like I'm so pleased that I played it.
So the story, without going into detail, it's not a complete it just gets weirder and weirder, and you end up being on the edge of a cliff, thinking, "Where the hell am I?"
Not really. I mean, there's the story. It's weird. It's kind of like if. I was trying to think of like a good analogy for this. Like it gives you everything you'd need to be able to figure it out yourself, but it just gives you the puzzle pieces in the wrong order. If that makes sense, it's a bit like a Tarantino movie.
Okay.
In the way that you get all the pieces, they're just given to you in a different order.
I can deal with that.
And sometimes from different angles, I guess, like the same puzzle piece, but from a different side.
Sure.
Yeah, I think I guessed parts of it. I was, there was times where I was talking to myself, being like, "Oh, is this person this? Is that secret thing to do with this? How does that connect? How does that work?" And the game sort of told you eventually, but you definitely, if you know the ending, then you'd know from the start, and I think it would probably ruin it. So
yeah, fair.
It's like a murder mystery type situation where if you know who done it, you don't really want to watch it anymore.
Okay, so you finished it. You finished the story. You like the story a lot. And you're thinking it's now in the top 10 of your all-time favorite games.
Yeah, I feel like I don't even have a top 10. I feel like my top 10 isn't really 10. I feel like I've got like a top 6 or 7 that just keeps moving around.
Sure. So it goes into the conversation or concept of being within that realm.
Within that realm of games, and I think it changes a lot. I feel like even the top 6 or 7, some of them get taken out, some of them get replaced, quite frequently, just because of maybe the day.
Yeah.
But other times it can be because of the experience of the time. Like definitely Death Stranding, the experience I'm not going to forget. I don't think. Same with Odyssey or Syndicate or LA Noire or Spider-Man. Like those are the games I just listed there. Are probably like in my top 5 or 6 or whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah, they all get shuffled around. But yeah, this is definitely in there now. It's worthy. It's 100%. I think I respect Kojima a hell of a lot more now. I did before, but like I'm like impressed with this. Like this is I don't know if this is his is it magnum opus they call it, like this
Yeah.
his masterpiece.
Yeah.
It might be.
Right.
I don't know.
Because this is his first foray outside of Metal Gear Solid since forever, basically.
Yeah.
So it definitely was a moment for him to perhaps
leave the nest.
Leave the nest and
become his own independent self.
Stretching the muscles to do new things, perhaps. So
yeah, I can't wait to see what he does next, man. I honestly can't. It's a lot of pressure now, a hell of a lot of pressure.
Interesting. With your knowledge and your experience and your similarities to me as a gamer, you've definitely convinced me that I should, at the very least, play this game.
Honestly, if you're not convinced after the first hour, then I don't know. I don't think you can call yourself a gamer at that point.
Well, here's the thing. I guess
it's definitely not for the casual gamer. I'll give you that right now.
Well, the conversation is, why is it so mixed? Is it because...
I think it's because it does. A lot of people just think, oh, it's a confusing story, I'm not going to bother. Right? A lot of people aren't. I guess I'm not going to call people stupid or anything, but I feel like a lot of people don't have the forethought or the intellectual. They don't have the mystery of it. A lot of people aren't intrigued by intellectual, mysteries or anything that requires any sort of thought. They just want to be able to kick a ball around or shoot someone with a gun type situation, right?
Yeah.
But this takes a little bit more than that. I mean, the mechanics of the game are very basic. I would say.
Perhaps it's more about maybe people who didn't enjoy the story or found it slow or something. Perhaps it was their thought process of, oh, actually, this game should make me want to play through the story and learn about it and teach me it, but I don't really care that much, maybe.
Yeah,
I haven't played the game.
If you don't care about the game, then you just don't, do you? I think it's really hard to explain. Like, I think if you're like a film buff, you'll like this a lot more.
Okay.
Because it almost feels like this could have been like maybe like a trilogy almost.
Well, Kojima is an absolute film buff.
Yeah, he's obsessed with his, directors and stuff. He's probably got a lot of friends in that department.
Yeah. What's his name? Oh, Guillermo del Toro?
Yeah, I mean, Guillermo's in this, so, it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, I will say, I think Guillermo probably helped him a lot on this. Maybe not like, he didn't credit him for it, but maybe he they just talked a lot and he got a lot of just knowledge of just how to do. I mean, obviously Kojima's a good writer because he's written things before. But I reckon, I think Kojima without anybody's help could have done an amazing story, But maybe with that extra knowledge of Guillermo being there, probably inspired him to, do something slightly different. And it is very unique, very very unique.
Do you think, Jay, maybe there's something else you want to say? I know you're afraid of spoilers and things like that, and I appreciate that. But is there something you would like to get off your chest, in this moment where you really want to just kind of, what would you call it, confess about this game in terms of what it does, how you feel about it?
Yeah, I will say me and you are obviously very influenced by music, and I will say the soundtrack to this definitely plays quite a heavy part. In that I feel like the overall mood is very it's kind of like Fallout, like how the soundtrack helped with Fallout. Like it's the end of the world type situation, right? It's almost like an apocalyptic type world.
Yeah.
So it's imagine that type of feel. Everyone's quite down, but they've still got hope that humanity can survive type thing.
Yeah.
And then the music for this is just very somber. It's definitely not very upbeat. It's just very somber.
You saying that, Jay, is just literally giving me this thought of why are we so obsessed with apocalyptic worlds? Like in a
I
lot
feel
of
like it
different
might be to
media.
desensitize ourselves from when it inevitably or not inevitably happens.
I think you could be right.
We have to sort of I don't know. I don't think that's the actual reason. I think that it's just we want to. Actually, I don't know. I just think it's just fun to live in a different world for anybody, right?
Yeah,
Even if that world
true.
is worse than ours, in quotes.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
We just want to be able to feel like we can do something in a hopeless place.
So you enjoyed it a
Oh
lot. It
man,
sounds
I
like.
wish I could play it for the first time again. I really do.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like that thing where you read a book and you think, "Oh, I really want to read that for the first time again." But I
Oh,
don't think that will
yeah,
ever happen because it's just like you have to understand it so much that it's never going to leave your brain. Once you do understand it, it's like, oh, that thing that's not never leaving my brain again. I'm
I'm
never going to be
very
able to watch that movie 10 years from now and haven't forgotten it.
sure,
Yeah,
sure.
that's going to stick around for a while. I feel like.
I'm I'm very intrigued. I have to say, Jay, I'm very
Yeah, I
intrigued.
don't really. I just think we spoke about this before about overselling or even just selling anything at all, like giving your opinion on a game. I think you asked me before, we were chatting before, and you asked me about how someone's opinion or whether they give you something as an idea to be like you play this or watch this or listen to this piece of music. You kind of feel like I especially feel a little bit turned off if someone offers me or suggests something to me and play, this is great, this is the best thing ever kind of thing. I kind of think, oh, I don't really want to play it now or listen to it now or watch it now because you've said it's so good. Like
Yeah.
that does a complete opposite effect for me sometimes. I
So
say most of the time.
I should never recommend a game to you. Is that what we're?
I think it's different. I think it depends on who it's coming from, actually.
I think I know what you're saying because I don't think you're a contrarian, but I have the same feelings, Jay. Where if someone's in my face telling me to watch Game of Thrones, I'll be like, no.
Yeah.
Um,
No,
and
I'm the kind of person who if you tell me to do something, I won't do it. I'll do it when I'm ready to do it. If that makes sense.
sure, maybe you are
Like
contrarian then.
it's a lot easier for me to like something if I found it by myself.
Yeah, 100%. Or if you're in the
Yeah.
mood for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm really glad you liked it, Jay, and I'm glad that you have provided a foundation where I can actually decide whether to play this game or not because of how divisive it is.
Yeah,
So,
I'm still surprised that there are people out there who absolutely just have trodden on it so much. I don't
okay,
get it. I
all
think
right.
that they lack so much of just compassion for someone. I feel like this really is like Kojima just letting it all out there. Like it's
Really?
so emotionally driven and passionate and just wonderful.
Wow.
Oh man. But there are times where you don't think that, but there are other times where you think there's nothing else I can feel but that right now.
Sure.
So it's just it's very passionate film, or I'd say
Um,
film game. It does feel like a film because you do watch a lot, but
sure.
a lot of
And
cutscenes.
what's the future for you with Death Stranding, Jay?
I reckon if I put another 10 hours in, I could probably finish it platinum. Because I don't really want to say too much here, but there's a mechanic in the game that allows you to travel across the world faster rather than just walking.
Well, that sounds like a godsend.
And once you put those things that allow you to do that in place, you can then, because it's what's the best way of saying it? You can get around quicker, and so you can do things a lot quicker. So if you didn't have those things, I think that's why a lot of people said it took you
Fast
so long to
travel.
do. Because if you did those things without the things that allow you to go faster, it'd probably take you 30+ hours extra after you finished it.
I'm
But
with you.
with it, I mean, somewhere between 6 and 10, I'd say, depending on how good you are.
So you're talking about fast travel points, essentially.
No, yes and no.
Okay, fine. Well,
Can't. Yeah, I don't really want to
I
say too much more than that.
I get
Because
what you're
I
saying.
didn't
No,
even know what this. Literally, I went into this game having no idea what the mechanics were, what the world looked like, what the travel was like, whether it was all walking, whether everything. I didn't know if there was any weapons in this game. I didn't have a single clue. I didn't look into anything. All I looked at was the art for it, Didn't look at any. I literally hadn't seen any gameplay before I played it. Hadn't seen a single drop of gameplay.
Okay.
I went into it this is the blindest I've ever gone into a game, I think.
I'm blind. I'm blind.
I'm glad. But yeah, I think I'm so glad I did that, because if I hadn't, I think this is the kind of game you want to go into knowing nothing. Because you can just like the act of learning to become better at the game and gain the skill and the knowledge is just so much more, nourishing and nice, rewarding. There we go. Yeah, you always know the word. It's so much more rewarding to learn how to play a game than it is to already know so much about it sometimes.
Well, that's interesting, because that goes against your other kind of philosophy, right?
That's the thing. I'm where I'm a Goldilocks gamer, I'm in speed at playing a game, but where I'm not at all is on the extremes of knowing everything about a game and knowing nothing. I don't want to be in the middle. I either want to know everything about this game or nothing at all.
Sure.
But I guess it's just chance if that comes to be, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Like with Overwatch in particular, I learned everything about that game before it came out. I knew how I was going to play it before it even came out, right? But with Death Stranding, I liked the artwork and the concept so much that I didn't have to look at it at all, because I knew I could trust myself that I would know I'd still enjoy it.
Yeah, and it depends on the game.
Depends on the game. Like Overwatch, obviously being a multiplayer game, you have to sort of require an amount of knowledge to even be good at it beforehand. You kind of have to like imagine yourself playing it, because there is a skill that comes to being good at that game.
Yeah.
Versus Death Stranding, where you don't necessarily need a skill, you just need I'd say discipline more than anything else.
Yeah, sure.
You still need the mental capacity to be able to keep going and enjoying the journey more than anything else.
And Overwatch PvP, so yeah.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
I get that.
Yeah. Oh God.
So I've just realised I failed you. At the first hurdle, I did not introduce you as the Goldilocks gamer.
No, that's fine. That's fine. We just still have no idea what to call you, so we're going to have to come up with it ourselves. But
well, that's true, but that is now your name forevermore.
Okay.
And that I've failed you. I should have introduced you as it, and I did not, and I apologise.
It's fine.
But you are the Goldilocks gamer.
If we were still in high school, then we'd probably be saying it to each other every day.
That is so true. Okay, I've been playing, Jay, as you can imagine, AC Odyssey.
Yes.
84 hours in.
Wow, that's actually not that much.
And
well, I mean, because last time we spoke, you were 73 hours in?
Yeah, I haven't been playing it too much, to be fair.
No, you're taking it slow.
Oh, dude, I'm still just chipping away, trucking along on the AC Odyssey bus. Every stop, please get off. No, not happening. Brilliant. Not happening. I'm still on. I'm still not pressing the button. And I'm loving it. I'm loving every stop, man.
Where are you? Give me some idea of where you are right now.
Spoilers, skip ahead fucking 30 seconds for AC Odyssey, okay, guys?
Oh.
I have just met with my mother.
Okay.
Marine.
Yeah.
And it was a very good encounter, actually. I was thinking to myself, how are they going to handle this when you meet her? And they've done it very well.
Yeah, they did.
They've done it very well. I was like, you know what? That she needs to be emotional because of blah, blah, blah. And it was really good. So I really liked it. So yeah, nothing else to report there, mate. I don't want to bore, you and the listeners, but nothing more to report apart from I'm still playing it, still loving it. I'll let you know if anything changes. The second thing I've been playing, we talked about Wolfenstein 2, Jay, like a few weeks ago. And you basically reminded me that I never actually played through the season pass content.
Yes.
So I've now just gone through that. I've got one episode left. There's 3 episodes. They're called the Freedom Chronicles, and each one is like a different character and how they're getting into the resistance movement sort of thing.
Yes.
They've all got, persona and charisma, but they don't meet the just I don't want to hype it up too much, but they don't meet the high standards of the single player campaign, and they are very short if you're not into the challenge map.
How long are they?
I'm getting the collectibles, but I reckon on the I'm on the easiest difficulty. Okay, I don't care. And I reckon you could probably play through each episode in like 10 minutes.
Really?
And there's 3 episodes. Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
So quite short, quite kind of minimal,
Short
I
and
guess.
sweet, I guess.
Yeah, they've got some. The only reason I'm playing it is like kind of I've paid for it, so I might as well.
Yeah, I was going to
And
say, yeah, I paid for it as well.
yeah, and I'm getting. I would definitely not recommend you play through Wolfenstein 2 tonight, Jay. I would absolutely hate it if you did that. You know what I'm saying? I would definitely not recommend you
Wink,
play through
wink, nudge, nudge.
Wolfenstein
Enough said,
2.
enough said.
Okay?
Okay.
You're not.
Not.
Yeah, so playing
Jesus
through that,
Christ.
short and sweet, not really paying attention too much, listen to podcasts, getting collectibles, it's cool. So without further ado, Jay.
Yes.
Oh, no, getting ahead of myself here, people.
I mean, you kind of are. I don't know what this next bit means.
Yeah, well, we have a conversation, Jay, a debate, if you will. That's the movement. And in the debate, we were talking about how games leave positive and negative experiences on you. And I can't remember. I'm saying this. I feel like I definitely did bring this up, but I couldn't remember what game I was going to compare Red Dead 2 to. And I'm just double checking that it was Skyrim, and I wanted to say Skyrim because I'd just gone back and finished Skyrim, and now I feel positive about that game, whereas I felt negative before I finished it. So I just want to clear the air.
So you were negative of Skyrim.
Yes.
Because you hadn't finished it yet.
Yeah.
But then, because you finished it, you're now positive about it because you've
correct.
Finished on a good note or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, and also, I finished with the mindset that the game is still really quite amazing. And when I stopped playing it before, it felt repetitive and boring. So. Yeah,
I'm starting to get urges to play it. Honestly, I mean, I need some sort of RPG right now. I need to be able to have weapons that I can upgrade and stuff. I need to craft something.
So would you say, Jay, that you need an open world RPG with an original post-apocalyptic story that involves mechanical dinosaurs by any chance?
Where are you going with this?
I'm just saying.
Mechanical dinosaurs.
I don't know of many games, that you could play. I definitely wouldn't recommend you play Horizon Zero Dawn because I've definitely doesn't check all those boxes. Oh my, really? And you didn't feel it?
I actually kind of want to talk to you a little bit about Death Stranding and Zero Horizon Dawn and how they link slightly.
It's Horizon Zero Dawn, my friend.
That's what I said, didn't I?
You said Zero Horizon Dawn.
I am stupid.
It's all right. Don't worry.
I don't know why I always get that mixed up. I just really can't be asked to remember.
I don't actually care that you get it mixed up. I can't. I'm not laughing at you, Jay, when you get it mixed up. I'm laughing with you.
It kind of it kind of just feels nicer to say Zero Horizon Dawn.
It does.
It's just
Zero Horizon Zero
Dawn. I don't know why.
I know what you're saying. It does roll off the tongue.
Yeah, this isn't like a spoiler or anything, but I think the reason why I was speaking to you before about there being holograms.
Yeah.
Of Horizon
Cameo.
Zero Dawn. Yeah, they're everywhere, so they're not it's not a spoiler or anything. I think the reason why they're actually in there, I think Kojima and the people who do Horizon Zero Dawn had a collaboration.
That is correct. Yeah,
because they're actually so Death Stranding is made on the same engine as Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah,
they're made on the same engine.
That's correct.
So they could cross their games over. Basically, they could put different. So in
resources,
Horizon Zero Dawn, there's actually 3 Easter eggs that are Death Stranding related.
Holy, what? When the game came out?
No, I think this was way after. This was they patched it in.
Yeah, sure.
Right, so there's 3 Easter eggs that you can find that are related to items within Death Stranding.
Yeah.
So they're basically just Easter eggs for each other, but they're quite prominent Easter eggs in Death Stranding.
Okay.
They're absolutely everywhere. Those big bloody giraffe creature things are absolutely everywhere.
Okay. Yeah.
So I just wanted to remind you of that.
Is that to a disorienting point of view where you're actually thinking they're in the same universe, sort of thing?
No, it's just if I explained it, it'd probably be too much of a spoiler.
All right. Let's
move on. They're not it's not annoying everywhere, but you see it a lot if you go to the same places back and forth. I guess.
I'm with you. They're in the same place, and you might cross them. Keep crossing the same place. Yeah, no, that's fine.
You'll frequent the path in between. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll frequent the giraffe path, some might say.
Yeah, sure.
Giraffe path. Okay, so Jay.
Yes.
It's time for the news.
I honestly don't know how you're going to do this one because I can't remember how
mate,
it sounds.
I live
I know, that's why I said it, because I wanted to like get what I want to hear what your version of
like
this is.
Got to go really high pitched and sounds a bit blummy.
Right, okay, there we go. That's fine.
Time for the news. Or you do like or you do Peaky. I don't do it that well.
That's so good. Oh yeah, Peaky Blinders. I totally forgot about that.
What you do Peaky. Well, the thing about Peaky Blinders is the main guy.
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy, his character, he is really low pitched, and he does it.
Oh, you're
which
right.
is really
You're
hard.
Right.
Because like, if you listen to Birmingham people, they're like, "Well,
They're quite-
Bob, how's it good?" And like, they just go higher and higher, dude. Like they end up doing opera, but like, the Peaky Blinders guy, he's
very low.
Get Arthur to the shipment. We'll take care of it. Like that sort of like, do you know what I mean? I'm like, Lord Michael, and it's like, oh my god,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That was probably your best impression yet, and I think
you.
I can.
Grazie.
Wow. Grazie.
Grazie. Yeah, thank you, mate. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I guess it's because you're there all the time. You get it.
Oh, it's invading my mind. Sometimes when I go back to Norwich for a weekend, the Norwich one will start creeping back in, and then you'll say like a word or two in Norwich, and like people in Norwich in a Brummie accent, and people are like, "Whoa, Nick, it's too much. It's too much."
So my favourite Norfolk sound and words is like hum. Home.
Like, yeah. Oh, okay. Hummus.
Hum, which is don't.
Say it again. Sorry.
Don't.
Yeah.
like my first thing to say is like, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Yeah. I'm going up. Don't do that.
Oh,
that's so fun to do. That's so fun to do.
Peaking the mics with the laughter. Christ.
I haven't heard you laugh at that in so long. That's pretty brilliant.
I need to laugh more, dude. I need to let it go.
I have to laugh like most days. I have to watch something funny most days. That's why I'm always on YouTube. I'm just constantly watching funny stuff.
Dude, have you seen do you watch Joe Rogan? Or listen,
yeah, a bit of both.
Did one with Kevin Hart the other week. It was amazing, and that guy's just so funny, man.
Yeah,
so he was like, I can't do it because it's visual comedy, right? But he's I won't do it because I won't do it justice. But he's a funny guy, man. What are your thoughts, Jay? On you've seen the Eddie Murphy like red jumpsuit like special, right?
Delirious, yeah.
Oh, dude.
It's probably my favorite. It's one of my favorites.
Dude, have you seen it? I'm sure you have, right? I'm sure I've even told you about this. There's a bit in the middle where, or like 3/4 of the way through, maybe.
Ice cream.
It's near that bit, I think, right? And this like the crowd's going mental and stuff, right? And then you hear this woman being like,
brown shark came.
And then this like woman starts screaming, and then he's this guy go, "Shut up, bitch!" And he just fucking drops the mic, dude. Like this crowd member just tells this other woman to shut up, and it's just hilarious, man. It's hilarious.
You can't get away with a lot of what he says, though. That's the thing. He says some pretty questionable stuff, but for the time, it's still funny to laugh.
Oh, it's so hilarious. So hilarious. And like Chris Rock early stuff, that is classic stuff. Oh, actually, yeah, and I was going to say Chris D'Elia. His new special I really enjoyed.
You said that. Very strange.
In what way?
His last name isn't Delia, but I love that you said that.
No, it's Delia.
No, it's Delia.
Chris Delia. No, it's
Chris
Delia.
Chris
I'm sure
D'Elia.
it is.
Trust me. I'm just following that. I'm not right. Okay. We're about to go deep right now. Okay.
Oh,
We're about to go deep. This guy had a podcast called 10 Minute Podcast. Did you know that?
I thought it was called Congratulations.
There we go. Right. So his first podcast was two other people. One comedian called Brian Callen. Do you know Brian Callen?
Oh yeah.
Right, so Brian Callen, Chris D'Elia, and Will Sasso have been best friends for like a very long time, right?
Yeah.
And they did a podcast back in the day called 10 Minute Podcast. TMP for short, right? And it was it literally was a 10-minute podcast. The first minute of the show would be the intro. The next 8 minutes or so would be like a funny of one of their silly conversations, or like a skit or like a song. And then the last minute would be the outro. And it was basically my life for like years. It went on for like from like 2010 to maybe like 2016. It was on for like years and years, but then it sort of fizzled out in the end, right?
Was it weekly?
Yeah, it was weekly for like ages, for years and years and years.
Okay.
So I know a thing or two about Chris D'Elia. Okay, trust me. Yes, his last special was very good. I agree.
Yeah, was it like no pain? Yeah, like he's like oh, I'm gonna go to a party, and then like his mum and dad are like, that's fine. We think don't want you to use drugs, but if you're gonna use drugs, we think you should be really sensible and just let us know if you ever need to pick you up or anything. And he's like, I don't know what to do about that. I'm just gonna, he does that funny voice thing or whatever. The kid voice. Like, I'm just gonna. Yeah, funny man. And then his Eminem. I do a really good impression of his Eminem impression.
Oh god.
Well, okay. Points in the points. It's gonna get him in the joints.
Yeah, exactly.
Points in that. Yeah, I think it's quite good.
Oh Jesus Christ. Off topic for sure.
Well, look, if we haven't lost all the listeners yet, we have now. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my brother's be like, Nick, you're not talking about games enough. I'm like, yeah, I know. So, Jay, moving on to the news. No, how Remy say the news? Moving on to the news. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Jay, I've got two opinion pieces which I kind of want to discuss. I want to talk about yours first.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's have a look what I've got here then.
The first one comes from IGN, Joe Scrabble. Sorry, Jams, I'm just interrupting you quickly.
No, you're good. It's just, more just delays at this point. The Cyberpunk showcase was moved from... it's been delayed to June 25th. It was supposed to be, I think, June 19th. Or 11th even? June 11th it's supposed to be. So they've just moved it 2 weeks because they think this whole thing will probably blow over in that long, which I guess is like a bad way to put it. But, things like this tend not to last that long, but we don't really know about this kind of thing, do we?
Unfortunately, they don't know, Jake. Yeah. So I think we should stay away from talking politics, but we should just raise the fact that the death of George Floyd is an event and it's causing ripples, and we're just talking about the impact it's having on the old games industry.
Yeah, on the games community. Exactly.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing.
So first piece is just about the Cyberpunk thing being delayed. Thankfully, it actually has like a date to be delayed, which is nice. Which brings me on to my next one, which is the PS5 event has been moved to we don't know. I don't think it actually says what day it's been moved to, because it was supposed to be today in about an hour. So we don't know where it's been moved to.
Sorry, the last story did come straight from CD Projekt Red. They tweeted, so I apologise. This one's from Sony. They tweeted, Jay, we were going to record the show Friday afternoon/evening, which would have given me literally 12 hours to put it out because we were so ready to watch this event. And now it's been delayed. So kind of it's a difficult thing to discuss because it is an important event that's happening. Or I should say, well...
important to us in the community, I guess,
Well, I meant like the political stuff is important to register, but from a video game point of view, I think I will say for myself that I'm just a little bit, disappointed that I have to wait a bit longer. We've waited long enough, which is
Yeah, I
fine.
guess it just makes it that more special, right? In the sense that it's good, or I guess it makes it that more exciting because we're still having to wait. So the
Yeah,
anticipation is becoming more and more, which I guess could be a bad
yeah,
thing because if anticipation rises too much, then you
yeah,
get disappointed if you're, too excited about something. So
100%,
I don't know. I mean,
100%.
there's actually been like a load of leaks about, well, what the PS5, how it looks, and certain things. Just being so close to the event, a lot of people were a bit looser with the lips, so they started saying things they probably shouldn't have done, and
What,
it got
like
all a bit.
producers and stuff,
I don't
or
know, just people online, like you hear things of like,
oh,
the
okay,
PS5 looks like a certain way, or like, does a certain thing that we don't know about yet, just because
yeah.
someone got a bit,
You need to start playing
careless.
when your mates borrow your games. You need to connect to the internet at all times. No, I'm joking. I'm talking about the Xbox One again.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
no, yeah. You can connect your TV. How great is that? No, yeah, it's man. Like you say, is there another date? Have we got another date, Jay? When do we
No,
know when?
no day. The only one that we know has been rescheduled to a certain day is the
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk one.
Oh, that's rough,
I
man.
imagine it'll be similar sort of timing. Because the Cyberpunk one was going to be on the 11th, and it's now moved 14 days, so 2 weeks. So we can just imagine 2 weeks from today,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is the 18th. So I'd say probably the 18th, somewhere between the 15th and the 19th.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well,
I can just
it,
guess.
oh, man. Yeah. Question I asked you, Jay. I text you this. Are we seeing the box at this event? Are we
Yeah,
seeing
I
the
think that was the
PlayStation
point. I
box?
think that was a lot of the things I've heard online are how the box looks, essentially.
We have to see it, right? Can you imagine at this point in the middle to late June of the same year it's coming out, we don't even know what the box looks like? That is
Yeah,
mad.
'cause I want to say the release for PS4, we'd seen it. We'd seen what it looked like way before E3
Oh,
of
100%, dude. I
that
think
year.
February or March event.
Yeah, so
Next-
I think they're just like trying to schedule things in such a way to be able to control the narrative
Yes.
of like, we want to one up Microsoft. It basically is what they're trying to do.
100%. I think that they're both way to the. No, you go. No,
No,
you
you
go.
go. Yeah,
Yeah. Like literally
you
from
hang up, kind of thing.
the very last second. The
Yeah.
very last. Because it's all about the price, dude. I can totally. And I know people are going to be like, Nick, like they plan these
Well,
things way in
that's the
advance. They're in
other sort
production.
of rumors I heard was pricing, and I was a bit, oh god, kind of.
What, over 500? Are we talking over 500?
Yeah,
Holy crowley.
yeah. I mean, that could be a load of, we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
It's still exciting. It's
Mm.
still exciting.
Do you want to do your two, and then we can finish on these? Well, I get my last two are sort of joined, so we'll leave that, and that's quite a
Okay.
big thing too. So.
Sure. Okay. Well, first one. So, yeah, I brought these two up because, as I mentioned last week, Jay, I wanted to talk more about gaming opinions on the TGO show since it
Yes,
seems aptly titled.
happy type.
So, going to my Google News feed, which, by the way, is shockingly accurate for what I want to read a lot of the time.
Okay, cool.
And I saw this really
Algorithms.
interesting algorithms. I saw this really interesting article on PC Gamer written by, let me check, Robin Valentine. Great
Okay,
last name.
I'd love to, honestly, I would kill to have that last name.
It's very cool. Well, you can always
One,
change it if you want.
one
I
of my
want to.
favorite, one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the Valentine detective in Fallout 4.
That too, I guess.
Who's the Final Fantasy character? Valentine.
Vincent Valentine.
Who's that? In what game?
Final Fantasy VII, but in the later part, he's not actually in the first part. He's not in the remake at all. He's going to be in the later parts of the remake.
Oh, okay, cool.
Can't wait because he's my favorite and he's like awesome and I love his story. So yeah, wasn't he like what game was it mostly about him? Was it Cerberus or whatever it was?
Oh, is he black hair? Has he got black hair?
Yeah, black hair, red cape. Yeah, Dirge of Cerberus. He's like the main character in Dirge of Cerberus, right?
I'm with you.
Yeah, there you
go. Jay, quick detraction here. Do you think I should play the original Final Fantasy VII? Like knowing me, knowing you, No, but
Uh-huh.
do you think I should play the original Final Fantasy 7?
That's hard to say. I'd say no, just because I don't think you'll make it through. It's very difficult. Like I feel like back in the day, like when you're like 7, 8 to 9 years old, like the game looks okay, but when you're this age and you've played games like Horizon Zero Dawn or Red Dead 2, you're like, this doesn't even like graphically doesn't really compare. But I mean, it's difficult to like follow because there's no dialogue either. There's no like spoken dialogue. It's all just text, and a lot of it is translated quite badly. So it's up to you, really. Honestly, it's whether you think you can do it. I mean, I'd try it for an hour and see if you can make it.
You're a wise man, Jay. I did play. I bought it. That's how committed I was. Okay, it was on offer.
It as well. Yeah.
Like £7 or £8 or something, right?
It's very cheap nowadays. Yeah.
Yeah. And first time it come to Xbox, they're all coming to Xbox. Fantastic, great stuff. And I bought it, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to finally play this classic. And I played it for about 2 hours, and I had a good time. But I don't know, like I don't feel the any. What's the compellness?
Yeah, you don't feel compelled.
Thank you. I don't feel compelled to go back to it.
Yeah,
in any, like I look at the kind of ready to install games, and I'm like, nah. Yeah, I feel bad about it, but I guess that's that. So, Robin Valentine, he wrote an article on Assassin's Creedcast forever, and the title of the article, the Assassin's Creed series has failed its best idea. I don't want to divulge the kind of final verdicts because I'm stealing his or her thunder, right?
Yeah.
But essentially, he's talking about the Assassin and Templar versus Templar conflict and how the games haven't really done a great job of presenting grey areas, because when you play Rogue, you play Shay Cormac, who's a Templar.
Yes.
And it's one of the better stories of all the games. And he's a great character, by the way. He's one of the underrated characters of the series. Way better than Arno. And in that game, although you're a Templar, they present it in a way which makes you think there is no way you're not a Templar. Look at what the assassins are doing here. Like, of course they're doing horrible things.
That's the thing. I've been convinced many times that the assassins are just as bad as the Templars and vice versa. They're just as bad as each other. It's just that one of them have a slightly different moral, I guess, right?
So the assassins want peace through freedom.
Yeah, that's what it is.
The Templar Order want peace through order. As in, structure is in, we're going to control.
Yeah,
control. I should say control.
Control, yeah.
Control.
Yeah.
So,
being powerful, essentially.
Yeah, and whenever you play as the assassins, the games are look at these evil Templars, they're horrible. Think about the first game, Jay, and you think about some of those people that you had to kill, right? The Doctor and Akka. You've got the Merchant King in Damascus. Dude, these memories. Mwah. You've got the slave / sailor guy in the. I think he's in Akka as well. You've got these really horrible characters. And by the way, the game has never really replicated the almost perfect. No, that's wrong. They're very flawed, but the very good interactions between Altair and his victim. And I loved that emphasis they had, and they haven't got it anymore, really.
Well, I mean, they had it in Origins, right?
Yes, you are. Yeah, you're right, and I did like that.
Come to that, I actually really appreciate that.
100%. Yeah, no, you and the black tar looking floor. No, you're right. That was
the sort of limbo kind of, wasn't it? It was like the in between. Yeah. Between the underworld.
You're right to bring that up, Jay. I completely forgot about that. That's a great point.
Did they have it in Syndicate, or did they have? Yeah, they had it in Syndicate. I can't remember.
Well, I know that they had the assassination. You can do different stuff to you can block off this exit route and stuff, which is cool. But I'm not sure they had the dialogue. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I really like that Origins does it. I don't think Odyssey does it, from what I can tell.
No, I can't remember. I don't think so.
And I also love, the assassination setups. But anyway, this person is talking about the kind of black and whiteness it presents, and also they start talking in more detail, which is what I really liked about the article.
Yeah.
They started talking in more detail about how the characters you see in history that you meet, so Benjamin Franklin, Charles Darwin, etc., etc., Cleopatra, their side of the fight, as in, whether they're with Templars or assassins, sometimes, if I'm reading the article right, doesn't correlate to their actual actions in history.
Oh, okay.
And I think Haytham Kenway at the start of AC3, I think that's a really great grey area. But then as soon as you become Connor, the very first meeting you have with Charles Lee, he literally rams you up against a tree as a child and goes, "I will eliminate you all, you filthy mudbloods." And it's like, what are you, where did this come from? Because the Charles Lee I just seen for 3 hours as Haytham Kenway was nothing like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know
he
where
obviously
this
got
guy came
influenced
from.
somehow, didn't he? Yeah.
So I think they're trying to say make it more grey, and especially with Valhalla coming up, they're kind of like, I really hope that we get to see some grey areas, and we get to see, because their worry is that they're going to make out the Vikings as assassins, but there's this whole bloodthirsty history they have. So it's kind of like, how's this going to relate? How are they going to be?
Very curious how they're going to do that, because obviously, Vikings are known to be, pillagers. They come in, they kill a lot of people and take over essentially, just so they can live their life with their wives and their children, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost like, well, the Vikings almost feel like they're more deserving of a life than these people who didn't actually do anything to them in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a really weird grey area right there, because it's almost like this, only the strong type situation, like the strongest survive or whatever.
Yeah.
I reckon that's probably what I guess the philosophy of the Vikings is that if you're weak, then you die. If you're strong, you survive.
Yeah, a bit like the Spartans in that way.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of why I feel like they've already done that kind of with the Spartan mentality, but they didn't really go too much into it with the Spartans, so I don't know.
Yeah, and this person also talks about the motivations of the villains in the series, and how their motivations aren't that compelling, and that's why I don't really remember them, which I think is an absolutely fair comment. Like, when you think about Order, right, and you think of one of the best villains of all time, I think Thanos, right? Where I'm like, he should have never have been that good of a character. And okay, not should have. It was very likely that he was not going to be the best villain in the MCU.
Well, I feel like MCU is just sort of known for having bad villains in the first place.
That is true.
Villains that aren't really worthy of being villains in the first place.
That is true. But
yeah,
and they end up
very well.
And they end up finishing, this whole thing with the best villain of them all. And it's like, wow. And then when you talk about Order and this person's, kind of going in detail about what are their motivations? Why do they want Order? And I think the lack of dialogue when you assassinate someone doesn't help the context of your actions. And I think the games suffer for that.
Yeah, it kind of makes you feel like you're doing the right thing all the time, when in reality you're probably doing the wrong thing quite a lot.
Exactly.
But that's not. I think the main problem that I think a lot of people have with this is that, are your actions really justified? Like, should you be assassinating these people for the greater good, or are you just making things worse for yourself or other people? It's because if you kill, imagine you've got this kingdom of people, and they're all. It costs a lot of money to run a city or a kingdom, so you end up killing or overthrowing the king because he's like an evil king, right? But all that time he was still looking after his people, just in the wrong way. But now that they have no king and no one to pay for all their food that's coming into the town, they've now got nothing, and they all die of starvation anyway, right? So you've then done the worst. You've thought you were doing well, but you've now actually made things worse in the long run. So I imagine they'll probably have a similar sort of, thing going through when it comes to assassinating people, because you've really got to think about what the consequences are of your actions.
Exactly, and that's great.
It's weird that we're talking so deeply about this though, because does it matter in a game? I think that's a whole other question. Do games have to really make sense when it comes to real world philosophy? Because if you think about it, this is really more of a philosophical way of thinking, right?
100%.
Like, it comes down to what's right, what's wrong. Who gets to say what's right, what's wrong. It's very, philosophical.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a good point, Jay. It's definitely, a debate worth having in terms of, do we need ideological context to justify actions in games, like as a whole thing?
Yeah,
And
does it need to be like an actual, like, almost like a speech in game that says, look, we want you to sort of like, I want you to give it this message of how to solve this problem or whatever, even though I guess there isn't really a solution. Like,
yeah,
should the game sort of like actually tell the player, almost in like a breaking the fourth wall type thing?
sure. And
No.
yeah, no, I know what you're saying. And I think that one of the things that always made me love these games is the ideological debate. And I feel that at the time of Assassin's Creed 1 release, we were starving for any, well, at least I was starving for any form of ideological, intellectual kind of battles where, don't get me wrong, Assassin's Creed is all about jumping off high points and killing people with a hidden blade. But then you've got the whole layer of the ideological battle, which just wraps it all nicely in a kind of like, yeah, okay, fine, we are flinging blades here, but there is more to it.
I don't want to say too much, but I will say that I think there actually is an answer to this, and it's answered very well in Odyssey.
Okay.
There's a point in Odyssey where the game literally sort of makes you think, are your actions justified? And you've probably come across the person who you think you've probably come across this person who has this conversation with you, but you have the conversation more than once. You sort of have it multiple times in from different angles.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
And like the last conversation you have with this person sort of sums it all up and makes ties it all up or whatever, and it makes you they really do. The game almost does what I said a minute ago of like almost fourth wall breaking, where it's sort of like really asks the player more than the actual character in game, like, are you doing the right thing, and do you think because you're making a decision that it's the correct one, kind of thing.
Sure.
So I think once you get to that point in the game, or like further on, I think you'll probably already know the answer to what we're talking about. I totally forgot about that till now. It just sort of clicked in my mind. But yeah, I've already kind of had this conversation with an NPC, as it were. Like, I've had this conversation already, but in game, it's very odd that that's actually they kind of touch on that. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, and I look forward to that interaction. I'm sure we'll have when I've finished Odyssey and finished the DLCs, we're gonna have a huge spoiler.
I can like, there's already so much that I've like not forgotten necessarily, but just sort of not really thought about too much since. But I know as soon as I do think about it, I remember how important it was to think about at the time.
Yeah, I mean, you'll be fine because I would have been fresh
you'll
from
remind
it.
me exactly. I'm not as fresh right now with my memory.
Yeah,
I think I'm actually more fresh with the DLC memory of stuff, but not the actual main game. I've forgotten quite a lot about the main game, really.
Well, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You remember more than you think.
Probably.
And second article / thing. It's not really an opinion, but I thought it was interesting. So
I want to know about this one. It's quite interesting.
Yeah. So this company called Live Door News.
Live Door, yeah.
They're seemingly Japanese, and they had an interview with Hideo Kojima. Oh, by the way, oh yeah, dude, dude, we should totally do like some Soprano stuff. Like, I don't know if you probably don't remember, but like anytime anyone says something like a bit harsh, where they're like, "Oh, whoa!"
Yeah, no, yeah, I do. I'd actually do that at home.
Oh, dude,
I do that every day of my life.
Do you watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia as well, Jay?
I watched the first 5 series and then stopped, so I need to go back.
Okay, because like in that, every time they go to the bar,
very similar. Almost like a Cheers type vibe.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So anyway, so Kojima had an interview with this company. In the interview, he basically says that, I just had a major game pitch rejection.
Yeah, so, I heard that and I thought, that's probably, it might be a good thing.
Well, do you? Okay, firstly, like, who was it? What and do we think it was because Death Stranding didn't sell as well as it hoped? Like, was Sony like, here's the sequel idea, and Sony was just like, you know what? I don't know if it's worth the money. Maybe it'd
I
be
kind of need to
financial.
know whether he definitely must have made his money back. There's no way he didn't.
Let's quickly check. Hold on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh dear. Yeah, it says according to box sales data, Death Stranding has sold 262,000 copies in Japan, which is really low.
That's 262,000 in physical and then 136,000 digital. So basically 400,000 total in Japan.
That's really low, I think, for a
Yeah, but
triple
that's
A.
just Japan. I want to know like global.
I thought he would appeal to Japan. And then it just says that Death Stranding was the seventh best-selling game in November of 2019, the month it came out. I'm not convinced this game did extraordinarily well. Probably 1 million units, but I wouldn't suspect 2 or 3.
Here we go. More than 3 million copies. Oh, this is interesting. Sony reportedly frustrated with Death Stranding sales.
Who's this from?
This is from Games World Observer.
Okay.
Death Stranding was a failure. Initially, the game sold well. When its sales almost came to a halt, currently more than 3 million copies of the game are gathering dust in warehouses.
What?
Wow, that's very surprising. So basically, they thought it was going to do well, but they didn't. It didn't actually do that well.
This is coming from someone, a moderator of a forum, and this is kind of rumors. This is rumors.
Okay.
But apparently, yeah, a lot of things in shelves and in warehouses. Which, I mean, feel free to give me a copy of the game. I don't mind. I'll talk about it for you, Sony. I'll review it. Yeah, I'm not convinced this game sold that well, Jay, to be quite honest with you.
That's really disappointing.
So in that respect, then, you have to think that maybe Sony have declined his next major idea, which puts him at a complete kind of like, what? Like, does he come up with a new idea? Does he go to Xbox? What are your thoughts, Jay? Hit me.
Honestly, I'm kind of like sad for Kojima. I really am. Like, in a way, this game should have like genuinely deserved to be probably one of the best-selling games of last year. Like, if people actually had enough respect for what goes into this type of game, like if they actually, I'm not joking, if every person on PlayStation, because this was a PlayStation exclusive, wasn't it? If every person on PlayStation played this game and actually had the decency to like respect it in any way possible, this game would have been an absolute smash. It's so strange. Honestly, I think part of the reason why it didn't do well is because of the mystery behind it. That's a bit of a gamble sometimes with like when it comes to games and having too much mystery.
Definitely.
I really think Cyberpunk won't initially do that well. Well, I think I reckon if they had released Cyberpunk before they shown any of the gameplay, it would have done terribly. Just because no one had seen it, right? Because obviously there'd been zero gameplay for this before it came out. So
sure, I don't know if it would have done terribly, but I agree. I know what you're saying, and there was snippets of gameplay. We just didn't really know what the game was.
Yeah. Nobody really knew what it was.
I know what you're saying. Dude. And I think even though it was Kojima, I believe that, there's only so many hardcore Kojima fans, and I, for one, can tell you that most of the gaming people that I know do not play Metal Gear Solid and don't like that franchise. I've played a couple of the games, and I do not like that franchise, or I should say the games. So I don't think it's as big as people think it is, maybe, but then look at the Metal Gear Solid sales. Oh, okay.
I have a new statistic, and I don't know if it's real.
Okay.
So this is from GameStat.com, showing like a graph of how many people have bought and played Death Stranding.
Mm-hmm.
So from
what's this on? It's coming to PC, by the way. It's coming to PC, or it has already. I don't know.
This is on PS4. You mean?
The game is coming to PC though, but ignore me.
Carry on. So the game came out November 2019.
Correct.
So from November to December, it had 1.74 million copies sold.
Okay.
This is global, right?
Yeah.
And then January the next year, so within a month, it had gone from 1.7 to 2.3 million.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
And then from January to February, it jumped another 0.2. So basically, what I'm saying is now, today, basically, it has 3.22 million sold.
That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Oh, I say that like I could do it.
And the reason they know that is because it says on here, there's at least one trophy for 98% of 3.1 million people, essentially.
I'm with you.
Yeah, so there's 3.1 million players on PlayStation that have at least got one trophy, if not more.
Bit strange that people could have borrowed the game though, but bit strange that Sony is so hidden about the sales figures. Though,
I mean, I kind of hope this is real, but I don't know if it is.
You've got to think, even if like a quarter of the people had borrowed the game, that's still quite a lot, you know.
Yeah, so I think the reason it's looking like on here that the graph is showing that it was more popular in the Asian countries than it was either the UK or the US. The US and the UK are quite far down on the list of like countries that played it essentially.
Sure.
It's definitely more the Asian ones.
What do you think this pitch? What do you think this idea was? This pitch, and why do you think it got rejected? And who rejected it?
I'm hoping it was, and I'm hoping it wasn't a sequel to Death Stranding, because I don't think there's going to be one. There definitely could be one, but I don't think there will be, and I hope there isn't because it finished perfectly. I'm hoping it's a new IP. I'm hoping it's something completely different, or at least somewhat in the same vein, I guess, of Death Stranding in terms of like its allure and I don't know. I'm not sure who. I guess he went to Sony with it, right? He must have done.
I imagine so.
And I imagine Sony went, "Nah, mate," which is disappointing. Either that, or this is like maybe him going to someone else because he knew that Sony. I don't know. So difficult to say.
Here's my view. I don't know what it was. I think it's probably the Sony, and I imagine they might have said no because they think about it, Jay. He didn't know where to go. He's then like, okay, I'm going to set up a new studio, and Sony's going to have my first exclusive game. They're going, yeah, Kojima, you've had some creative issues with Konami. You can make whatever you want, and we'll back you. Let's get a relatively short time scale here so we can financially see this through. And what's probably happened is he's done exactly what he wanted, and the game hasn't sold that well. So now they're probably like, well, we gave you the shot. So, I mean, we let you do whatever you want, and we didn't quite get, Spider-Man, God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn sales. So, nah. That's my guess.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
And by the way, Horizon Zero Dawn, well, all three of those, Horizon Zero Dawn is sold surprisingly well, I will say.
Yeah.
Millions and millions of copies sold for a new IP. It's great. But nevertheless, Jay, let's move on. We've got some more next-gen news, which is exciting.
Yeah, so this I've got two lists here. One that's saying the confirmed Series X games, and the other one the confirmed PS5 games, basically. And they're supposed release dates. A lot of them are quite vague because they're all like launch or TBA or 2021 or holiday 2020.
So hold on now. Sorry, are we talking about these are all the confirmed next
These are
generation
confirmed next gen games that we know of so far.
on each
The
platform?
name of the game, the developer, and the release date. But the release date aren't very specific. They're just sort of very vague.
And these come from the IGN Wiki team.
Yeah, IGN Wiki team.
Cool.
And then, so on the Xbox side, I've got ones that are highlighted in green, which are the ones that utilize smart delivery.
So that's you're going to get the free Xbox Series X version, basically.
Basically, yeah. So if you've already bought the game on
Xbox One, correct?
on
Yeah.
Xbox One, you'll get it on X for free, Series X for free.
Okay, Jay. So here's one for you quickly.
Yes, sir.
We haven't seen box art for the PS5 or Xbox Series X yet. So is there? I know you don't do physical, I guess. I still do, especially for Assassin's Creed, as you know, because I consulted you.
I have all of the games apart from Syndicate and onwards in physical.
Oh, that's not too bad.
So I have them all up until Unity, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not really on purpose, more just because I used to do physical and don't know.
So what I was going to say was, this is going to sound so pathetic. I don't know if I can purchase an Xbox One cased Assassin's Creed Valhalla when there's going to be a Series X case. Does that make any sense?
Yes, which is why I'm not going to get it in physical.
Smart move.
I think although it doesn't say launch on Assassin's Creed Valhalla for it coming out, I reckon it will be either just before launch or around launch. It'll be around launch time.
Yeah, sure.
Even though it says holiday 2020, I actually think Valhalla might be coming out a lot sooner than we think. I still think October. I still think it's coming out in October.
I could definitely see October.
Because Dirt 5's coming out in October, and that's the earliest so the earliest Xbox game that's coming out that's also going to be on Series X is Dirt 5, which is October.
Mm-hmm.
That we know of so far. The rest of them are all sort of like 2020, whatever, right?
Oh, sorry. So you were saying you can see the console release in October?
Well, either the console and or the game release in October, yeah.
Okay.
I'm kind of hoping so.
Okay. So without further ado, shall we go through the list on Xbox? Xbox Series
X? That'd be good. So you've got it up, have you?
I have, yeah.
All right. Do you want to go, or do you do Xbox? I do PlayStation.
Do you want to do each game? Like I do one game, you do one game?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I will start if that's all right with you, Jay.
Yes.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla. What? Assassin's Creed? What's that?
I've never heard of that before. Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, I mean, what else is there to say?
Not much. Yeah, and holiday 2020 should be sooner rather than later, hopefully.
Jay, thoughts on, again, any update on the thoughts of kind of, are you still 60-40 on how are these presentations going to convince us to which console you're going to buy?
I might have to let you know after we finish these two lists because I haven't actually read them yet.
Oh, me neither.
I've saved them for now, so. At the minute, I'm saying 60-40 Xbox. It might even be 70-30, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just want to... Yeah, I mean, we're both excited for Valhalla. We're going to probably get it at launch, and that's cool.
Yeah, there's at least 3 big games that are just for Xbox, I think, that I'm hopeful for, so...
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, Battlefield 6. I've played previous Battlefields, but I don't think I'm too fussed about getting this one. This one says not till 2021.
Yeah.
So, whatever, I guess. That one's obviously a definite just Series X release. I imagine it'll probably come out on Xbox One as well, but at least we know it'll be a definite Series X because of 2021. So, there's a few games on here that we know will be on both because of it says so, but other than that, we're not. So there might be some that we're not sure about. That's the thing. Will there be any game that will come out that won't work on Xbox One? I imagine not, right?
Not for a while.
I think there was a thing saying about PlayStation 5 games that every PlayStation 5 game that is made now has to work on both PS4 and PS5.
Is that right? Oh, I haven't seen anything like that.
Yeah, it's either that or they have to only work on PS5.
So like a normal, like a normal next gen game.
Yeah, basically. But I mean, they're doing that because they don't want people just getting it on the thing they already have. They want people to play it better, buy
Yeah,
the
sure,
console and the game at the same time.
sure.
Yeah.
I do think PlayStation are. I don't know if this is a tactic on purpose, but they do seem to try and encourage people to buy the next gen hardware because it hasn't got backwards compatibility, really. And if it does, it's
Yeah,
a sound troublesome.
it's a good sales thing to do, I guess. Make some more money. So
Yeah. You have to wonder, how are these games making money if you do buy the Xbox One version and just get the series? I don't know. I don't know how money works. Yeah, Battlefield 6. Again, not my franchise, so I will swiftly move on.
I'll see how it looks. Make my opinion then.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it looks.
Yeah, me too. Intrigued.
Bright Memory Infinite. This is that one that we saw at the conference, right, Jay?
Yeah, developer playism. Never heard that one before. That's quite interesting.
Yeah, this is the samurai gun-looking weird dark thing shooter.
Yeah, I'm just checking out to see what other games they've done. They seem to be all quite ones we never heard of. So,
do you want to carry on, Jay? Do you want to?
Right. Yes. Hang on.
Do you next game?
Call of the Sea.
Another one at the conference, I believe.
Another at the conference.
Inside
Yeah.
Xbox thing.
TBA in terms of release date.
TBA.
Yeah, don't really know what I've seen gameplay. It looks okay. I probably won't play it, but
yeah,
interested to see who does play it. If there'll be anybody online who's streaming it, or whatever.
Looks alright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure the people who made it are very pleased with it.
Yeah, and that's an important element.
Much like most people who make games.
It's true. Cool. Okay. Chorus. Jay.
Yes, with a V, weirdly, like how they've done with like churches or Paris. I guess.
Right. Is it with a V? Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, and like
Deep Silver.
Yeah. Which one's this? The space one.
Yes.
Spaceships.
Yes. So it looks like Dead Island 2 probably isn't happening for a little while. Although I want to say Dead Island 2, I think got picked up by someone else, so I don't even know at this point.
Dude, it's had about 5 developers. Just
it literally has. I think at this point I'm going to give it up.
Oh, man.
Oh, you say the best for me, my dude. You say the best for me.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was just going to say, Jay, wouldn't it be amazing if they released Dead Island 2 and it was like a 10 out of 10?
Honestly, I love the first one. The first one was amazing.
Good. Did you play Riptide?
No, unfortunately not. I have it, but I've never played it.
Okie
dokie. So yeah, Cyberpunk 2077. CD Projekt Red.
The big one.
It says TBA on here, but we know it's coming out in September. So
it's very much true. Otherwise, I'm going to commit suicide.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that is true.
No.
Just
again, this one I think is this and Valhalla is like my main 2 reasons why I want to get an Xbox right now.
100%. Right. This is smart delivery, I assume, is the main proponent of that.
Right? Yeah, I'd say so. But also the fact that I've played every other Assassin's Creed on Xbox. So
yeah, 100%.
Kind of have to be there. A bit of console loyalty, as it were.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I mean, yes, it's going to be huge, isn't it? It's going to be,
Well, I don't know. I looked at some gameplay the other day to remind myself, and I was looking at it doesn't quite hit the same as it did a few months ago.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit, but I'm hoping that it'll feel good to play. It kind of actually reminded me a bit of Fallout, like when I was looking at the text and stuff. But like a lot of the UI usually changes quite a bit over time.
Yeah,
like UI, I think is probably one of the things in most games that change quite frequently, or like have quite a UI in games can look awful sometimes initially, but you get used to it quite quick. So.
And I imagine if they are polishing, which they are now, if they are polishing, that it will be all the small things that will get amended. So, small things. Truth care. What's that lyric? I don't even know what he says. Truth care. Is that what
I'll check it while you're reading the next one.
Care. Saying ain't so, I will not go. Look at that massive UFO. Na. Made a joke.
True care. truth brings. I'll take one lift, your ride, best trip. There we go.
I don't know what that means.
Not me neither. How up?
What does it all mean, Basil?
What does it mean?
Okay, next one.
I don't know.
Signy?
Can't remember.
All Guns Blazing. Never heard of it, never will. No.
I've seen this. Let me just check the trailer again, just to remind myself. But yeah, I think I saw this advertised on IGN. They did like a trailer.
Oh yeah.
At some point, I can't remember if it was any good.
Do you know what sort of game it was?
It's one of those games that's sort of like what's the best way to describe it? Like you sort of shoot almost like a Space Invader type thing, where it's like you're going down like a narrow corridor of like flying over a sky, and you're like shooting projectiles, and you've got to like miss all the projectiles.
Twin stick shooter.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, kind of like that.
Okay.
One of them. One of them's.
One of those.
Destiny 2, I guess, is like a whatever. I'll like miss that and just talk to the next one anyway.
Well, I was just going to say quickly, Jay. I assume this means that they've announced that it will be part of the Smart Delivery program, and they won't release a physical edition of it. I imagine it'll just be.
Isn't Destiny 2 also free?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, it's been free for a little while now. It's actually coming to both Series X and PlayStation. So.
Oh, maybe so. Are they releasing a physical PlayStation 5 or digital PlayStation 5 copy?
I doubt it. I think it's just saying it's being released with it'll be on as a free downloadable thing. I imagine.
Interesting.
Dirt 5.
Jay, it was actually my
coming
go.
Out I know, but I needed to say it. I needed to say it. Right, you prefer the next game to me than
No, you cool. Carry on.
Dirt 5. Oh, come on, Dirt 5. I've been waiting for this game. God, when did Dirt 4? When did Dirt technically 3? Because Dirt 4, well, we don't really count Dirt 4. When did Dirt 3 come out? It came out 2011. So I've been waiting 9 years for this game. I really hope it's so much like Dirt 2.
Jay, this one has the October 2020 date.
I know. I did say it was October, so it's coming out so soon.
I can't wait for the scream of righteousness when they announce it's October. When they announce it's October at the event.
I think it'll be November.
We're releasing October. I told you!
Do you know what would be the best thing ever? As if it was coming out my birthday, like end of November.
Dude,
like if both consoles are releasing on my birthday, that'd be the best birthday present ever.
Jay, what's your birthday day this year? What day's your birthday?
Well, that's a good question.
Because I'm telling you now, if it's a Friday...
I was going to say. No, it's a Saturday, so it might be the day before my birthday.
Oh, that is still pretty perfect.
Yeah, Saturday birthday is quite nice.
I mean, can you imagine? Oh yeah, one of the generations launched the day before my birthday. That's cool. Or one of the consoles.
Yeah, at least.
Cool, man. Okay, Dying Light 2. Yeah. I feel like we've seen this game for quite a lot.
Right? Quite a lot?
About 10 hours, I think.
Oh, okay.
Maybe a bit less than that. I played a bit with my brother. We're not gripped by it, I gotta say. I'm not a huge zombie fan, but I'm not very gripped by it. But we've seen this game for quite a while now, and I think it looks ambitious, and I think it could be really good.
Okay. Next one, Fortnite. I mean, I guess it's like a given, really. Coming up. No. It says TBA for Dying Light 2. I'll just say that as well.
Oh yeah, TBA.
But yeah, launch with Fortnite makes sense.
Yeah,
it's Fortnite. It's going to be on like every console from here on out.
Yeah, fair play to Epic because, like they said, they're doing it at launch, so makes sense.
Yeah, well done, boys. Well done, and girls.
Yep. Gears 5.
I'm guessing you're probably a bit more excited about this than I am.
Well, I've done Gears 5, so I'm not going to play it again.
Oh, but Gears 5 has already come out.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, I have no clue. Gears, I lost.
We've talked about it on the show. I told you how good it was.
I can't remember. I have no intention of playing any Gears game in the future.
Probably. Oh, is Gears 4 out? Gears 4 was out?
Yeah, I remember Gears 4, but for some reason Gears 5 went straight over my head.
I think it was out in September last year.
July last year.
It weren't July. Shut
19th of July last year, yeah.
No, it wasn't.
I'm looking at it right now, dude.
Gears 5.
Gears 5. You know the game that hasn't come out yet?
Not a chance. July? Not a chance.
Yeah, July 19th.
What? What a strange date. Huh.
Yeah, very odd. There you go. middle of the year. Honestly, I had no idea Gears 5 was already out. I had no idea.
Huh.
So yeah, not fussed about that at all.
Well, look, they're supporting it at launch. I guess that's
Yeah,
that's good, and
it's got the well, obviously it's
delivery.
got the smart delivery already out.
Yeah,
So.
and it's on Game Pass, so this is kind of a free version for everyone. So.
And at launch, so there's that too. That's nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Gods and Monsters. Do I know what this is?
So Jay, this is the game.
I do know what this is.
Okay, this is the game that Assassin's Creed Odyssey director is doing, creative director, which we spoke about before.
Yes.
But carry on.
Do I know much about this game? It actually kind of looks like Odyssey, just because of like all the Greek looking stuff.
Yeah, it's got a very would you say cartoony style?
Yes, extremely cartoony, extremely so.
Yeah.
Like it's all just cartoon basically.
Yeah, and we're not really sure when it's coming or
I don't even know what
the game is.
It looks very childish, like sort of. Imagine like the way it's quite like a kiddie type game is when like the characters have like small limbs. Does that make sense?
What you mean, small limbs? Like anime characters have no. That'll deny.
Yeah, a little bit, my friend.
No ribs. I was gonna say no ribs. Oh God, just shoot me now.
Gods and Monsters is actually also a film with Brendan Fraser. That's very strange.
I think we'll see this at Ubisoft Forward this year.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm probably not going to play it, but it looks fine, I suppose.
I think it'll be interesting to see what it is.
Yeah, to see what it is, I'll be interested to see.
Yeah. Gothic remake.
What's this? I need to see
Gothic?
this. Anything else Gothic in the name is quite interesting.
What is
there's a teaser that came out last year.
Video game, action role playing game, looks real old.
Looks a little bit like Fable.
Huh.
Looks like Fable if it had like less cartoony graphics.
Oh yeah, I like the style.
I feel like the original it's a remake obviously, so the original looks awful, but the remake looks fine.
I gotta say, it looks alright. Could be good.
Yeah, like another sort of like Witcher looking type thing,
Yeah.
I'm looking at the combat right now. It looks very similar to like a mixture between. Oh, they've got that combat that's like For Honor.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like the up, left, right, down type thing. I remember this now. I remember seeing the teaser for this. I'm actually kind of intrigued in that. That looks kind of okay.
I wonder if that was in the original game. So that. I mean, if you're a Gothic fan, I guess, but I've never heard of the game. And
yeah, it came out in 2001.
Huh.
So a long time ago.
And one of the 195,000 games that THQ Nordic are developing, so that's interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
Jay, did you? Your turn, mate. Yeah, TBA.
TBA on a lot. Yeah. Halo Infinite again, coming out on launch. You'll be intrigued in that. Me, not so much.
I'm real excited about it.
So this one hasn't come out yet. What's the last Halo game that came out? What was it called?
Halo 5 Guardians.
It was 5, okay. So yeah, let's make sure.
If you want to be technical, the last Halo game that came out was Halo 5 Guardians. No, it was Halo Wars 2, I think.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, so Halo 5 came out in 2015, so it's been 5 years and they're waiting for this.
Yeah, so what happened was they tried to develop Halo 5 alongside their technology. So they tried to. Yeah, whatever, I've just said it. And instead, this time, they want to have a Halo game for launch, like the original Halo. And Halo 3 was near the launch of 360.
I think that's partly the reason why they left it so long then.
Yeah, and also they've taken a couple of years to develop their new Slipspace engine. So hopefully it will be good, and hopefully...
Is that like space battles and stuff?
No, that's just what it's called.
Oh, okay.
But everything I've seen of this game thus far feels right. That's the best way I can describe it.
Honestly, if anything, I'm just more happy for the fans of this franchise. I love it. Like even for people who like Gears, like I'm just happy for people who enjoy that. Like if I was into it as much as I know they are, I'd be happy. I'd be very, very happy. So I'm happy for people.
Halo 5 Guardians is actually a fairly solid campaign and enjoyable, but the story is not there, and they need to. Yeah.
So the last Halo game I fully enjoyed to like very high levels of excitement was probably Halo 3.
Dude, Halo 3 is a masterpiece. Oh,
yeah, it really is. It really is.
Phenomenal game.
All right, go for it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Madden NFL 21. I don't care about this.
Well, Honestly, I kind of want to just play one of these on like a demo or something because I quite like um, American football. Like I like the idea of how it plays out. It's quite an interesting like mechanic.
True.
But
What we should
yeah,
do,
not
Jay,
not like a fan favorite, I guess, of what we like.
this is a perfect let's play game. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
doing like some matches or whatever.
Yeah, just like, how does this game play? Wow, this is hilarious. We're so bad. This is perfect, man.
I mean, I know a
Perfect
little
game.
bit of the rules of American football, but not a lot. I know some,
I know
but
some
there's
too.
actually a lot more rules than you'd think. Is the thing.
I feel like American football is the biggest game that not many people know how it plays, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. I think most Americans do, but that's probably about it.
Yeah, literally. Dude, Americans have got too many sports, man. Like, and I don't mean like
Baseball,
we've got a
basketball,
lot of
American
sports as well.
football,
Exactly. And the problem is like each state has their own team with their own name and they're
and
all
there's 50
massive.
states. Yeah,
Like baseball stadiums, America, and it's like ice hockey, American football, baseball, basketball. It's like, stop, please. Crikey, I can't
and
keep up with these
all we
names.
really have, I guess, is just football and rugby, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And rugby isn't even. I mean,
Like we've
that
got
big.
tennis kind of with Wimbledon.
Oh yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Basically football, mate.
Yeah, basically
Basically.
football. Scotland has golf and rugby,
Golf, yeah. Yeah.
football, I guess as well. Right, okay. That's TBA 2020. That one.
Yeah.
So whenever this year, whenever they feel like releasing it, which is probably around October, November time.
I'm
Same
really
as most
sorry
Call of
to
Duty games.
I'm sorry to do this, Jay, but I think we should try and blast through these, so to speak, because
Yeah, okay. So do you want to do you want me to just like go through them really quick, and then we'll do that for the next lot as well?
Nah, that's cool. Because I'm just looking at a PlayStation 5 one, and it's a lot of the same games. So now we're cool.
Yeah,
We're
we'll
cool.
probably skip the ones that are
That we've
most of the
done.
same.
Yeah. Okay. So go on. Sorry. So you're
Next one, Microman. Have no idea what that is.
Me neither.
Coming out 2021. Block Game
Microman.
Studios. Very odd. It looks like it's a Microman is actually a toy that came out in the 70s to 80s. So apparently it's a survival thing. I don't know. There's a trailer out. It came out about a month or two ago. Probably, I don't know. I'll probably check it out later just to see.
It's yeah, whatever.
Whatever, I guess. Yeah, we'll see.
Looks a bit like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids type stuff. Like
Oh
new,
yeah,
like the new Obsidian game.
Yeah.
What's it called now? Ground something. I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Yes, sorry. Moonray. There's a developer. Everything is full of gods. They sound European, and this is coming out 2021.
I'm now looking at it. It looks quite
Go on.
weird.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's like a hack and slash type thing, so it's fun.
Okay. A lot of indie games. A lot of stuff.
All right,
To go.
this
looks alright.
This is a very interesting sounding game.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it. Let's just say that. Oh, here we go. Pronounce nth squared 0. So nth squared 0 Infinity Reborn. Coming out February next year.
Well, who's the developer, Jay?
Developer is Kitatus.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. Very intriguing. I'll again check the trailer for that and see. It looks quite interesting actually, just from the artwork that I'm looking at right now.
Jay, this is part of my problem with Xbox's launch lineup is that I don't think a lot of people will care about these games.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It actually looks pretty pants.
Yeah.
Okay, right, go ahead.
Observer System Redux. If this is the same Observer as that Cyberpunk's horror game, but just a bit updated, I don't know if it is.
It is, yes, it is.
Yeah, okay. By Bloober Team. Bloober, that's a cool word. Coming out holiday 2020.
Yeah, it's basically just like a HD, kind of redo, I guess.
Okay. All right.
It looks slightly better with the graphics. This one I'm actually quite excited about. The next one, Outriders, Square Enix's next sort of Destiny type game.
Sure.
But not really at the same time. Third person shooter.
AA.
People Can Fly developer as well. Square Enix is just the what do you call it? Publisher, yeah.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
I've helped out with Fallout and like Bulletstorm and Gears and a few other things.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah,
I'm hoping it finds an audience, Jay. I'm a bit worried about it because no one's talking about it, to be quite honest with you. But
it's actually ramping up at the minute. I've seen a lot more frequently on certain YouTube channels. So I reckon closer to comes out December this year. So closer to release date, I reckon we'll probably see a lot more.
cool. Okay.
There's definitely like there's like a small subgroup of YouTubers on YouTube who talk about like looter shooter games. So this will definitely be talked about a lot on YouTube. I'll give you that. And
Okay.
I'll be following it because it looks quite interesting.
Yeah. Next one, Psy Hotel
By
by
Ultimate Game.
Ultimate Games.
Yes.
TBA.
Yeah, don't recommend that one. That's a very odd looking one.
Cool. Moving on.
Rainbow Six Quarantine. Are you what?
So this is Rainbow Six Siege, but this is like a kind of zombie thing, I think.
Oh,
Zombie mode they're releasing for it,
I'm still amazed at how well this game is doing.
Dude.
Like, if you said to me there's a Rainbow Six game coming out in the future that's going to be this big, I'd have been like, nah, you're wrong. This game has defied so many people. Like, expectations.
It's so weird because I think we all agree this game looks really cool, but we never thought it was going to have like 3 million people play it consistently. Like
every day for years too. Like this game's been out a while.
What's going on, man? What?
Yeah, I'm confused. I'm very confused.
I mean, respect though, but and the
dude, it's a 5-year-old game.
I know, came out 2015, didn't it, or 2016?
My God. Can I name a game that's other than Destiny that's like 5 years old that people are still playing right now?
Oh yeah, World of Warcraft, dude.
Well, you know what I mean. Like
okay,
the obvious ones.
I'm with you. Like you might even say Rainbow Six Siege did a better job than Destiny did in a way. So.
God, yeah, I'm impressed.
Fair play. No, fair play. And then the next one is Rainbow Six Siege, which is again cool to see these games being supported at launch, and it's funny because these games are now these live games, they're so big that they almost have to be there at launch because if not they're going to miss out on a huge opportunity, and it's the first time we've really seen games have to do this, which is interesting.
So the next one I'm very happy about. Scarlet Nexus is the anime one that you weren't too fussed about. TBA launch date, but it's coming out. I guess sooner rather than later. Bandai Namco, who are very well known for their Japanese to Western sort of transitional games, I guess you could call it, like ones that are very Eastern games, but then make their way over to the Western. It was like very well from them. So
yeah.
I'll be keeping an eye on that. See how that goes.
I'm very excited about this next game.
Yeah, I feel like I need to play the first one.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you need to because then you won't. But but you do.
I love the style of this game. It's a very I love the way it looks. It's just very well styled.
I think you would like the first game a lot, Jay. But you have to play it with headphones.
Oh, okay.
This yeah, man. It's Hellblade 2 is the subtitle of the title Senua's Saga, but that's fine.
It's weird. Yeah, I wonder whether they'll. I mean, I don't know.
It is what it is, but
it's called Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
Correct.
Subtitle. So I mean, I don't know. They've just flipped it around a bit.
I really enjoyed Senua's Sacrifice.
It got 10s out of 10s, 9.5s out of 10s. The reviews on it are insane. Like it's nothing below a 9 essentially. Like from all the major people, at least.
It's one of the best, probably the best, quotation marks, AA game I've ever played. Where like the gameplay's there and the graphics are there. It's just the length isn't, but in a good way.
What I know about it, it's pretty short, right?
Yeah, well, like it's not that short, but like it's like, oh wow, that was a really nice little, like not little game, but like
sweet, man.
Yeah, man, it's really
don't want too much content or too much. You don't want too much of a good thing. Yeah.
It respects your time, and I can't. It's set for December 20. This comes from Ninja Theory or Team Ninja. I think it's Ninja Theory, this comes out apparently December 2020, which I hadn't heard about. I would be surprised if they meet this deadline personally, but we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Scorn comes out at launch. We saw this. It got released 3 years ago on Steam, I want to say. And they're just sort of, again, sort of bringing it back, making it a better version of what it already was.
Yeah.
Probably won't play it, but I'll be interested to watch these kind of games. I'm quite interested, like survival horror games. I'm quite interested in watching streamers play, watch them get scared for a bit. So I'll do that, usual stuff. I'll do that.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So next up, we have a game which is literally trying to rip off a genre, new genre, Soulborn.
Yeah, what is this? Why is it titled that? That's annoying as hell. Because they've
by
like
Pixel Mad Studios, coming 2021. So that's that, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's like a MMO type thing.
Oh, there you
Not
go.
really. I don't know. Like,
do you know what, Jay? These MMOs on console are interesting to look at because, like, you look at ESO, Elder Scrolls Online, you're like, that looks like it's got a big player base. Fair play.
it has. A lot of people.
They made that game,
to that.
and they developed it, and they made it good. But another like Black Desert and all these games, I'm like, does anyone play these games?
It's an open world RPG adventure. There you go.
Okay. All right.
Yep. Very like history lore based, like all sort of Viking looking. So
more Vikings.
Yeah, I won't play that one. I'll leave that one. The Ascent. This is the one I had a bit more interest in looking at.
Cyberpunk Diablo.
Yeah, basically. I mean, IGN have had the whole month of May have sort of been doing a IGN first type thing where they've been showing in depth, videos on how it works and developer diaries type situations. So I'll keep an eye on that. I'll see where it goes. That comes out 2020. No, it comes out at launch. So launch of the console.
Groovy.
Which is weird because they're saying it's got the optimized for smart delivery, but you obviously can't have smart delivery unless it's coming out before launch, right? So I don't really get that. But there we go.
Well, no, it could come out on launch, but you can get it on Xbox One as well.
Get it on both. Yep, you're right.
Yeah,
you corrected me. Thank you.
So this next game's interesting, Jay, because
I haven't heard about this. What the hell's going on?
So WB have the Lord of the Rings license, and as we know, they've had Monolith make Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, which are incredibly good games. And they're now making another game under the Lord of the Rings banner, but not Monolith. Daedalic Entertainment, I guess. Yeah, that is spelled like that. Lord of the Rings Gollum. So I've heard about this. I haven't checked anything out about it because I didn't think it had actually been properly announced and shown yet. I guess it has. But
yeah, March of last year it got announced.
Right.
Yeah.
March of last year.
March of last year it got announced. Yeah, they basically came out and said they're making the game or it's being made.
This is shameful. I need to check this out immediately after this show.
Sure.
Because I don't know anything. I assume it's a stealth game.
The people who, I was going to say, people who made this are also the same people who did
Go on.
Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun or whatever it is. It's basically like a first person kind of stealthy gangster type killing sim almost. It's a very strange game.
Okay. Well, I hope this game's good and I hope it lives up to the superb expectations that Monolith has set. And I'm also really intrigued to see what Monolith are doing next. I'm hoping we see that this year, but we'll see. But yeah, I'll check this game out. I'm a huge thingy
what
fan.
Else that these companies done? They're a German company, so most of the games they've made aren't that well known over here. I'd say literally the only game out of this lot I know is the Shadow thing I just said. So actually, they did the State of Mind thing recently, which is actually quite good. So other than that, yeah, keep an eye on that one. See, we're both quite big Lord of the Rings fans.
100%. 100%.
What's the next one? The Medium. Did I see this one before? Did they do this with the? They did. Yes, that horror survival thing. Okay. Yeah. Again, I'll keep an eye on this. It's coming out.
It's Bloober again.
Bloober again. Yeah. I watched a dev diary thing on this. Actually, it's quite interesting. Holiday 2020. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on this. Survival horror. We'll see. See how it turns out. They did actually go quite in depth on how psychological it is and how they made a point to make it more like intriguing to someone who's of the mind of listening to this type of stuff like me and you. So yeah, I think you might even have some level of interest in this. I'll probably convince you or not convince you at some point.
I'm happy to be scared for people's entertainment. That's I'll say. Yeah. Sims 5, very prestigious franchise. Do
you play Sims or no? Are you like a big Sims guy?
I've had my time with Sims.
I mean, I had it, but honestly, the last time I played Sims was probably before 2010. It's probably like 2003 2003, 2004, maybe.
Yeah, me too. Sims busting out for the win.
Yeah,
Sims busting out of Sims 2 for me. Apart from that, nothing really.
I was never really a big PC gamer like early on, and I feel like Sims was obviously for people who had. I didn't have a computer until I was like, oh god, like in my teens. So
sure.
So yeah, I wouldn't have ever played anything too PC driven back then.
I
But
wonder what it's
I know
like.
people who like it, and I appreciate people who have been waiting like a long time for this. So
Yeah.
just as
Yeah.
TBA, it'll come out when it comes out, I guess.
Yeah, I've had mixed reactions from Sims 4, but it's interesting to like see what casual people would think of like, oh, The Sims. How many of those are out? You know, and that like that'd be an interesting
A
conversation.
lot more than 5, technically, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's
I guess
true.
they're just expansions, but they feel like pretty big games. The second Extinction. This was that dinosaur arena type
Right. Yeah.
thing that we saw at the thing. I'll keep an eye on it just to see how silly. I'm sure this will be like one of those games that's like so silly the streamers will absolutely love playing it.
I can see that.
Seems like it's so silly it's good kind of situation.
Well, if you make a game that's real bad but entertaining, you're in for a treat, really.
Definitely. Again, TBA on that, so probably next year.
Next, Ultimate Fishing Simulator 2.
I know you've been looking forward to this, mate. I know you told me about this so long ago.
By Masterco, TBA 2020, and I do you know what, man? Yeah. There is such a again another great Let's Play game. There's such an element of intrigue.
You know what makes me laugh, my guy? Right? How a game called Ultimate Fishing Simulator 2 can be made, but bloody Kojima's next game gets shut down. Yeah, right. Okay, I can guarantee you that the game that got shut down would have made 10 times as much as this game's going to make. Easy money.
I think you might be right.
Absolutely.
You might be right.
I guess
Jay, we should.
Budget, I guess, right?
We should absolutely at some point play through like Fishing Simulator, Deer Hunter Simulator. Like, I'm so intrigued by these games and how bad they are.
A level of like good, fun to them, just because of how silly they are.
True.
I'm sure.
True.
So if you want to know, TBA 2020 on that.
Yeah, you've got good ones.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. We saw this at the thing, so
yeah. I
might keep an eye on this. Actually, it looks like it could be fun. But I didn't play the first one, so I don't know. But that's a very old game, 2004, so it's been 16 years. Coming out this year, TBA 2020. Paradox, I trust Paradox a lot, so weirdly, I'm actually going a lot more off of the developers nowadays than I am anything else. Almost like a director. Like when you see a director's name on a film, you go, "Oh, I'm gonna like this."
Jay, you're in my head, okay?
Yeah, I know. I know we're saying the same thing, dude. I'm right there with you.
This week, I had the thought of like, oh, me and Jay should debate and see if any gamers out there are committed to just a developer or just a publisher, like a director. And you've just brought it up.
Yeah. I mean, it was right there, dude. I just had to grab it. One of us would have grabbed it eventually.
That's unbelievable. That's
unbelievable. TBA 2020. I'm actually going to keep an eye on this just to see. It looks like it could be fun because I really like Vampire. Vampire is definitely my top 10 games of all time, so I'll keep an eye on it.
So next one, Warframe, Digital Extremes TBA. This is interesting. Another live game. Made its money from being free, I guess, which is interesting, and or made its money through microtransactions in the free game. And happy for those guys. Happy to see it come to new consoles, and hopefully the fans like it. I've put Jay off now. You've got a good one. One.
That's right. I was just writing the thing. I guess I'm a man, so I can't multitask. Right. So yeah, that was Warframe. I played it a little bit.
Don't be sexist.
Well, it's kind of true.
Mate, I was joking.
Yeah, I know. Watch Dogs Legion. Actually, looking forward to this, but honestly, I don't think I need to play Watch Dogs 2 before I play this. Part of me feels like I don't really need to, but part of me feels like I do.
No, you don't.
TBA 2020 to 21, we still don't know exactly. I mean, I thought this was coming out 2020, but obviously it looks like it's been moved.
So did
I. I'm sure. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was on the PlayStation Store for a long time. You could pre-order it the other day. I'm sure.
Huh.
I'll have to double check it.
How often do you look in the PlayStation Store, Jay?
Once a week, if not twice, maybe more.
Nice.
I check it to see if there's any new sales or anything most of the time.
Yeah. I thought you were quite excited for this game, no?
I loved the gameplay we saw. They showed gameplay so early. It's lovely.
They did.
I died.
It was like one of the only games we saw last E3 or whenever it was of gameplay, so it was nice.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited about this because it's in London, I think. So,
Jay, I'm going to skip this next game because I don't know what it is.
WRC, that's World Rallycross.
Oh, okay. WRC 9 is coming from Kiloton.
There's actually a bit of news with that. I think they recently got the people who own World Rallycross. I think the licensing changed or something.
Are you sure that wasn't about baseball?
No, I'm pretty sure there's some sort of like 19-year-old feud between people trying to get the licensing back from it. I think they finally got it. So,
all right. Well,
just a side note. Just another rally game, you know.
There's 9 of them, so they're doing something. TBA 2020.
And then lastly, Yakuza Like a Dragon by Sega coming out at launch.
Just like a dragon, it's like a little.
Wow. There's an audience for this. I'm sure they'll love it. Yakuza. I won't play it, but I'll probably watch a streamer play it. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Whatever with that one.
So moving on to the PlayStation 5 games, Jay. I'm just taking a look to see which ones on. Okay, we've got a couple.
So there's one on here that I'm actually is making me sway the other way, more towards PlayStation, which I'm annoyed about.
Go on then.
Should I start off with it, or do you want to go? Because it's your turn.
You go.
Godfall by Gearbox, coming out this year, December. I can't bloody wait for this thing. So, from what I know of it, it's. I actually need to look at the gameplay because I haven't looked at any gameplay yet.
So it's from Gearbox, right? Or Gearbox publishing it?
Third person. It's looking very like fantasy, sort of armor, big weapons type, kind of hack and slash, sort of like bosses type thing. Not 100%. I mean, nobody really knows what it is yet, I don't think, but I'm hopeful. It looks good enough. I mean, it was the one it was the first one they said was definitely going to be on PS5. So I think that kind of gives it a little bit more, hype around it, I guess.
Yeah.
It's the one that I've seen the most advertising for PS5 so far, so I'll keep an eye on it. I mean, Gearbox is Gearbox, so I trust them. So
yeah. I think it could be a cool live launch game. Yeah. I will also say that I gave Xbox a bit of flack for having all these games, and like that, most of them are on PS5 as well. So the flack goes to PS5 as well.
Yes.
Okay, next one for PS5 that wasn't on the list before. Oh no, I've missed one. Yeah, Quantum Error, which looks like a horror type game.
I need to look at this.
Yeah, it looks not my cup of tea. And that's, let me have a look, by Team Kill Media, TBA 2020. And then we've got Redo Enhanced Edition, Robson Pavia developing or / publishing that, TBA 2020. Everything else is Xbox. Clearly, PlayStation 5 are literally on the cusp of revealing probably like at least 5 exclusives coming to PS5.
I was going to say, there isn't really much here, is there, in terms of exclusives?
No, but we'll see how the lineup shapes over the coming weeks, Jay.
So after that, there's just like one more, I guess. There's like another Square Enix thing that's coming out, but they don't even know what it's called yet. So
right.
Have to wait and see on that one. But Square Enix is Square Enix, and I trust them so much. So looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
But some things they make are a masterpiece, and some things they publish are Avengers. So we'll see how it turns out. But
yeah, so true.
Crystal Dynamics, I believe in you. Okay.
I don't. Not yet.
Crystal Dynamic. Well, I
don't. Honestly, I'm genuinely upset about Avengers. I'm genuinely upset.
Oh god.
Genuinely, like I've lost sleep.
You just wake up and sweat. Thor. Yeah.
I want nothing else but just a good third-person like RPG type Avengers game. But nope, they had to ruin it somehow, didn't they?
It's true.
We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see.
Hey, time for the next
Yeah, I can't wait for this.
movement.
I've got some good ones.
This is the good stuff, guys. This is the good stuff. So, this is
Yeah, more bloody Assassin's Creed.
this the technical move. Yeah, that's true. Jesus Christ, Creedcast forever. This
Yeah,
movement,
Creedcast,
I'm going to call this
aka.
random. Yeah, or genre? No, yeah,
Yeah,
error.
go for it.
No, random. We'll pick random. This is random. So, as discussed last week, Jay, it's time for us to divulge our top 3 most wanted time and places for future Assassin's Creed games. I'm very excited to discuss this with you. So,
I actually
let's
did.
go.
Honestly, I'm not joking. I spent about an hour and a half, 2 hours looking for this. I went deep.
Dude, you're going to make me feel really bad now because I did mine in 10 minutes.
You should feel.
No, but to be fair,
I'd spent probably about another hour before you even asked me this question, just on my own, volition, like
sure,
what could possibly be places for this to happen, and I couldn't find anything. But I had to really look for this.
I'm excited to hear yours. Well, Jay, let's do one at a time, and you go first.
I have a feeling you've kind of seen mine. I don't know if you actually read them or not, but
I saw glimpses.
I'm not sure whether these are going to clash or not. Whether we've done the same one, I doubt it. But.
That is true. So yeah, we could be clashing.
So you want to start?
And also, we don't know each other's pretty much.
I don't know. You have a better recollection of mine than I do of yours. So.
I know one word of yours. That's all I saw. So
cool.
So do you want me to start?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, right. Number 1, the Middle Ages.
Okay.
So this one is like quite an obvious.
Had this and then took it off my list. I don't know why.
Oh, this is quite an obvious one. It does kind of relate to the AC Unity Syndicate type thing.
I'm saying the Middle Ages are quite a broad. Like Middle Ages are about 1,000 years.
It's true.
476 AD to 1453. Quite a while.
Let me give some context. So,
yes,
I'm thinking more of you can do.
Which part of the Middle Ages are you talking about?
Early.
Okay,
and I'm thinking Black Death. So what I'm thinking is a Plague Tale.
I'm not joking. I had this on my list and I took it off because I knew you were going to do it. I knew you were going to do it. I'm not even kidding. I read it and thought, yeah, I can't put it on my list because I don't want to clash. I don't want to clash with this man. Okay.
I'm thinking a Plague Tale: Innocence, which is a game we should talk about, by the way. I'm thinking that. But just Assassin's Creed.
I don't know if you know. I went into a bit of the history of like this particular time period of all like the plague stuff, and I kind of want to see if you did any venturing into that or not. And I'll mention it if you didn't.
I did not, so please feel free, Jay.
So yeah, this is there's a particular time where all this sort of happened, and I think it was quite close to after the Third Crusade. So you could potentially. You could potentially weave the first ever game with the plague. You could definitely, and you could also weave it with the second game as well, because the plague sort of happened, I think, partially like closer to the Italian side of things than it did
Renaissance.
To AC2 rather than AC1. So I think you could weave those quite well. I think it'd be better to do it with 2 than 1, but still.
That's incredible. No, yeah. Linking a game to the first game would be.
That was kind of where I went with my list. It was mainly like, how could I link this to another game that's already come out? That was part of my reasoning.
Okay, well, I'm probably thinking of a random European city or 2 or a couple of countries that we haven't seen before.
I feel like UK would be like the main one though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but we're getting that in.
I know. Yeah, I was going to say because we're getting it. I guess you actually. I might have to look up where different Black Plague stuff and see where.
By the way, I'm so surprised that we're revisiting England because I feel like it's one of the few moments in Assassin's Creed where we're revisiting a place we've already been to. The only other time I can think we've done that is New York and Boston in Assassin's Creed Rogue, compared to 3. So I'm surprised they're going back to England. I've got to say.
Well, I mean, it's the whole of England they're saying, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I'll have to wait and see how in depth that goes.
So, Jay, do you want to do yours? Do you want to do your one?
Yeah, I just want to say like a quick thing about Black Plague. It sort of hit the entirety of Europe, so you could literally pick anywhere. I mean, it even hit Egypt and Greece, so you could literally pick anywhere at this point.
That's cool.
And it was like 1300, like 1350, 1340 type era. So.
And it could be like a whole new element, right? Like we haven't seen a plague of that scale in Assassin's Creed before. Oh, Berlin.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of Berlin suggestions online.
The only problem is everyone will want to do World War II. That's the kind of issue there.
Yeah, I literally I wanted to mention it but didn't, just in case you did. I didn't know if you were going to say it.
I haven't got any World Wars on my list.
No, me neither. I'm kind of glad. I don't want to go there. I really don't. I need to avoid it. I need to avoid like the plague.
Right, Jay, you do yours. Come on, I'm ready.
Okay, so yeah, my first one is the Persian Empire.
Controversial, Jay. Controversial.
Which is basically the Middle East, right?
Okay, all right.
Specific time frame. I even have how it links to both Odyssey and Origins.
Oh, okay.
So Persian Empire, 1553 BCE to 553 BCE to 522 BCE. So about the span of 30 years or so. And this is the time where Cyrus the First, I want to say, becomes king.
Okay.
And Cyrus the First of Persia, right? He's the guy who basically made the Persian Empire.
Okay.
And the reason how that links to Greece and Egypt, and sort of the Middle East and everything, is because he, as we know in Odyssey, Xerxes the First is the guy who, is basically the Persian who invaded Greece, right?
Yeah.
And he's linked with that. So you've got that aspect of the timeline of there being a Persian link, right?
Yeah.
And then you've also got Egypt, because I want to say Persia had some sort of involvement in Egypt somewhere. So I guess, any sort of link there is just like whatever. I think it might have been that Alexander the Great actually had some sort of involvement with the Persians and the Egyptians, which he is actually spoken about in Origins quite a lot.
Okay.
He's the guy in the coffin in Honey. He's the guy who's holding the staff in Origins. Remember that bit?
Yeah, no. Sorry, yeah, I'm with you.
Alexander the Great is the guy with the staff inside.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, right?
I'm with you.
So that's the link there at least. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good time frame. I mean, I guess you could argue it's too close to Greece and Egypt, so they want to maybe just distance themselves from that, which I can totally see. I'm just it's just I'm just trying to think how else you could possibly link other games to. But I guess you could say it's too soon. Like, it literally is like within basically this. I mean, it is way before Origins, because it's like 500 years before. Because Odyssey was like Odyssey was like 400 BCE, right?
Yeah.
So it might actually be too close in terms of time frame. But regardless, I still have to see. Like the Persian Empire, like it's just nice to see how that would all tie in, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really interesting idea, mate, because one, you get to see the Middle East and there's loads of interesting things over there. Two, you can have a real religious
probably
aspect.
Quite a diverse history of things too. Like, you can probably get a lot of even like, I feel like what comes along with the Assassin's Creed territory is just the culture of the countries they go to. Like, I'm sure I've learned so much about the culture of countries from these games.
100%.
And the Middle East is quite a, expansive history and culture, I imagine. So
definitely, and
a lot to learn there.
What idea you've proposed, Jay, is there could potentially be a kind of spiritual sequel to Odyssey, which is really cool. Like, it is too soon now because we've just played it, or you've just played it and I'm playing it. But when you think after Valhalla, maybe a year after that, maybe a tie into Odyssey would be welcome.
Yeah, they could come back to it. It might be welcomed at that point, definitely.
But I would definitely, Middle East definitely is up there.
Okay. Go on then. You do your next one.
Okay, so my one's, I've done a bad job here. It's very broad.
Okay.
It's Brazil/Mexico.
Oh.
Okay, and I know we've been in the Caribbean, and I know they're two completely different places.
Brazil? Why Brazil?
Well, just, nice. Well, I'm thinking like South American rainforest type thing, okay? I'm just saying that area.
Okay.
And I'm thinking definitely Mexico. And I'm thinking Spanish invasion of the Aztecs.
Okay.
Maybe that's a bit too old, but that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Do I say it now or do I not say it now?
Say it now.
That's my third on my list.
Okay, all right.
It's the Aztecs. The Aztecs is my third, so we did clash at least once. I knew we would.
That's cool, man. Will you tell me about your Aztec background?
At least I can talk about it a little bit now. Hang on. So the Aztec, I guess you could call them civilization, because they weren't actually around that long. They were only around for about 200 years. So from 1325 to 1521, they were around.
That is way later than I thought.
Yes. Yeah, me too. For some reason, I thought they were like ancient, but they're not.
Yeah,
really.
I thought they were like BC.
I think there is definitely a level of Aztecs that were around way before, but the ones that I've looked at might only be for this time. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I could be really wrong about that. I don't know. It's very it's weird. But I've always thought. Actually, I think the one I've looked at is the. I'm trying to know how to say this. How do I pronounce this? Have a look. Tenochtitlan, maybe is how you say it.
Yeah, I know what you're on about.
They're sort of the ones that are well known for like all the pyramids and stuff.
Yeah, which is definitely going to play into the game, you know.
Yeah, I want to say we'll call it maybe the last Aztec civilization because since then there really hasn't been one.
Yeah.
I guess you could call them. We'll say in quotes the last Aztec empire civilization, whatever, right? So yeah, around the time was like all the pyramids and all that kind of stuff, all the weird sort of like rituals and stuff. Maybe they could do like flashbacks to like previous Aztec civilizations that have all the weird rituals and cutting open the chests and the the holding like the kind of like the 10,000 BC kind of weird sacrifices and the what I'd really like actually is that game where they have they decapitate someone and use their head as a football.
Yeah,
and they throw it through that hoop. It's almost like basketball but football mixed.
Is this from Horrible Histories?
Yeah.
That
was a real thing.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
I mean, like if they had that, and it was like maybe this, if they had an Aztec Assassin's Creed, it'd be quite a gory one, even more gory than it already is.
Yeah,
it would almost be like a horror type thing, where it's always like maybe they had like weird like blood moon rituals and stuff like that. It'd be like really like mystical and quite spiritual in ways.
Yeah,
that'd be really cool. So I guess that's your second and my third.
Correct. Jay,
do you want to expand on that anymore, or?
Nah, man.
I guess the only thing I can say more about that is, kings and queens. There's always some sort of leader that can be abolished. That assassins can take out. The usual stuff.
Yeah, that'd be cool if we could see some maybe Spanish stuff on the other side of the sea and see some politics there. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd actually be really cool. Like maybe an invasion of type.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure a 200-year period is quite a while for there to be an invasion of something.
Yeah,
or to be some sort of collaboration with some sort of collaboration with a Spanish type thing.
Yeah, it'd be fine.
Right.
Do you want to go last, Jay? Do you want to go first? Last first?
Yeah, I'll do my second one, and then you can do. So you've got how many more have you got? You got two more.
I got one more.
Right, yeah. So I'll do my last one then. I'll do. So mine is the Mongol Empire.
Very exciting.
Basically, so 1206 to 1260 is my time frame.
Is this Genghis Khan?
Yeah, Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
So he died in 1227, so it'd be around about then. It'd be sort of like around the time of his death. I imagine he would probably be the big baddie.
100%.
Yeah, he'd be like the end boss. So it'd probably start in the early 1200s and then work. I imagine that what would make me laugh is if the 1206 is when you were born. You're the assassin you're born in 1206. And then, so you'd be, by the time Genghis Khan was about died, you'd be 21 roughly, right? So you'd be a very young assassin.
Sure.
So I can imagine you probably maybe like you're like have a mentor, like like an older assassin type who would bring you up to become the one you are, and that would be the game. Is you'd spend the however many years becoming this amazing assassin to eventually take out Genghis Khan. I imagine.
That sounds awesome.
I think that was my sort of my idea, and then in terms of like location, is it spans quite a large part of sort of Central Asia essentially, right?
Yeah.
So it's basically most of Central Asia. It sort of goes from the borders of Europe to like the very far end of like Korea and China essentially.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be a very good.
So like Vietnam type kind of.
Let's have a look. It's good. I mean, it really spans. Like it's mainly like Tibet, I guess, like the Himalayas. Like I can imagine like sort of, coming across the Himalayas and like really going across different parts of the world. Like
studying the hills.
Mainly northern China, I want to say.
Oh, that'd be cool.
It'd probably be. Because I want to say Genghis Khan sort of died in China. I want to say.
Okay.
Could be wrong about that, but I'll double check. Mongol Empire, Central Asia would be cool. We haven't been. I mean, we've kind of been there with AC China, but that was a smaller game. So
yeah, well, I was just gonna say, Jay. I made a note. I think all of those 2D AC Chronicles games they released absolutely need a
so that
full
was
release.
China and Russia, right?
China, Russia, and India.
India. Yeah. See, I had India on my list, and I took it off because I remembered there was a thing there as well. So.
Well, we need those fully fleshed AC games. All of those.
I mean, maybe weirdly they're all quite close together. Those countries, so you could probably do it maybe as one big one.
Ambitious.
Yeah, I mean,
India's
you know
got
what I mean,
a lot.
Or 3 separate ones. You don't know.
Yeah.
I guess my answer for this is the Mongol thing. It could be literally do Russia, do Central Asia, and then do India. Do all three.
Maybe.
Do what you want. I mean, but yeah, Genghis Khan. You know, I feel like most of my answers were mainly surrounded by just the history behind it and who could be the baddie and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Some sort of major, well-known bad person in quotes. I think actually Genghis Khan's quite a good one because a lot of people think he did a lot of good in terms of like how he spread his seed and like basically made an empire. You know, like he sort of
didn't he kill a quarter of the world's population?
Something like that at the time. Yeah, I mean 1200 AD. There probably wasn't that many people, but actually I might have to check that what the population of the world was in 1206.
I think he killed like 2 million people or something like that. Or was it like 20 million? I don't know. But Jay, just want to say my last one. We should. So I've got Aborigines.
Oh my god! You just blew my mind.
Australia.
I didn't even think of that. Why did I not even think of Australia?
Australia Aborigines. Now it's fairly limited because a lot of Australia is desert. You could maybe go to New Zealand. That would blow my effing mind. I think
that's so true.
But I think at some point we've got to go down under, and I think that could be more of a tribal. So the problem here is, do they get too close?
So cool.
Do they get too close to Far Cry Primal? That's kind of my concern.
No, I feel like I mean you could do flashbacks, right?
Right.
Like ancient beings, like because obviously there's the Izu, right?
Yeah.
You've got the ancient people, but then but in between those and us is the cavemen, right? So, I mean, that has to be touched on at least once. Maybe not from like an Assassin's Creed type situation, but maybe more of just a history situation.
Yeah.
Like cave paintings can be like, you could go to caves and like scan paintings or whatever, you could like find them and they could be like a collectible of sorts.
100%. Or like
weapons would probably be quite interesting because they'd be very basic.
Yeah.
I need to look at what I need to know what time frame this is. That's the only thing.
Well, I believe Aborigines are still around. So
I mean, they are. I mean, like when were they first like?
I've got 11,000 years ago.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So we're going way back.
I mean, yeah. They apparently they've got direct descendants of people who left Africa up to kind of 75,000 years ago. So I think anything in the last 10,000 years is fair game, to be honest.
Yeah, they can literally pick anything, I guess. It'd try to be quite substantial or like important,
significant. I mean, yeah.
This is like 10,000 BC before. This is we're going like caveman territory here.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to talk.
It's getting close to Far Cry, basically.
Well, if not, you do the American Revolution thing of like, oh, this is when Australia suddenly got communized.
And, you're right. Yeah, you could.
And
do
like
that.
Britain come over. And you just like you get rid. Yeah, like you could just probably like the 1800s, I guess, 15, 1600s maybe.
Yeah, around that
something
time.
like that. Yeah. Well, Jay, I'm thoroughly impressed by your research and dedication to the task.
Yeah, I just want to say a quick thing about the population of the world around Genghis Khan.
Go on.
So, from 1100 to 1200, which is before him.
Yeah.
It went up from 320 million to 360 million. But in the 200 years of him being around, the population went down 10 million. So he must have killed a lot of people. For over a 200-year period, the population went down. Oh
my God.
Went from 360 million to 350 million.
So he's not only stopping the rate of increase, he's decreasing it.
So you could say he actually did a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how you look at it, in terms of like a population cull, right?
Right, sure.
In terms of, because obviously if he hadn't have done that, there'd be a lot more people on the planet right now.
Yeah, but you could say that
World
about,
population right now is almost at 8 billion, right?
I thought it was 8 billion.
It's 7.794 billion, right? Yeah, so 7.7, basically 7.8 billion is what we're at right now.
Did it become 7 when we were in school? Do you remember that?
Yeah, 2010 it went from 7. It went from 6 to 7. I remember watching it. We were in IT.
Yeah,
we watched it take over. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I mean, he had a massive impact. So,
but I mean, like, if the Black Death's going to come along anyway, all those types of things, you could argue that that's going to cull it down anyway. But
yeah, I imagine there were probably plenty of other things around that time. Yeah, the Black Plague was also during that time, so that probably killed quite a few people.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with a mixture of the Mongols and Genghis killing a lot of people, as well as there being a plague. So,
all right, Jay. Time for the next movement, and we are getting to the end of the show. Don't worry, people. Don't worry. Just a quick one. You can write into the show, and I implore you to do so at contact@thegameopinion.co.uk. You can always tweet me or message me or find a way to contact me. If not, do your best. I'm sure you'll get me eventually. And I really would like to hear anyone's opinions on anything. So feel free to
absolutely anything game-wise.
Feel free to log on in. Jay, first game of the TGO show. Guess whose review? I have in front of me 3 quotes of a person's review from a media outlet of a game.
So I've got to guess the outlet?
You got to guess. Yeah, you got to guess the game.
I'll guess the game. Oh, that's even better. That's even better.
Guess whose review is just a cool name.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah. Gotcha.
Mate, if you try and guess the editor, no.
Yeah, that'd be buddy.
Literally, or the writer. No, so you got to try and guess the game. Okay, so I've got 3 excerpts. If you can't get it, then you don't get the point. And I've just decided I'm gonna tally these points. So
okay,
Jay, Nick,
all right.
And then next week will be your go. Yeah, and this is the first game idea that I had. So here we go. Quote number 1. The decisions you make here have a substantial bearing on the game itself. Some people you meet in the game will deliver different dialogue if you're playing as a woman.
Oh, I already know what it is.
Do you want to guess?
I feel like, is it Odyssey?
No.
Oh, that would have been too obvious, I feel like, right?
I'm going to give you 1 guess per quote, and then at the end you can have a few guesses, whatever. Okay. Quote number 2.
If you're a woman.
The combat takes a few hours to wrap your head around.
Okay. That was the second quote?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so...
Be broad.
Dialogue is different depending on if you're playing as a man or a woman.
Yeah.
So I've now got to think of a game that allows you to do that.
Correct.
And then the second one was...
Combat takes a few hours to wrap your head around.
Okay, right. Hit me with the third one, and then I'll guess some more.
Okay, no guesses. Quote number 3.
If you want me to. Hang on.
No, okay.
It makes sense, yeah. Consistency. Combat, and then a game... is it Dragon Age Inquisition?
No.
Okay, keep going.
Okay. Last quote.
That was a good get. I'm going to give myself.
Oh no! Hey! No,
that makes sense.
Don't listen to my whimsical. Whimsical? No, wheezy laughs. In a year, that has seen the Xbox 360 library finally round itself out with a series of quality Japanese RPGs, the developer of this game, which I'm not going to say, has shown just how far ahead of the curve it is with this game.
Right, do that one again.
In a year that has seen the Xbox 360 library finally round itself out with a series of quality Japanese RPGs, this developer has shown just how far ahead of the curve it is with this game.
So this is a 360 game?
Yeah.
And it's a Japanese RPG?
No. The review is just saying that the 360 has a lot of Japanese RPGs, and now it has this game. So, you know.
So there's no clue there about it being whether it is or it isn't a Japanese RPG?
It is not a Japanese RPG.
But it's a 360 game?
Correct. And the developer, you know, it got a lot of credit for this game.
Oh God, I have to really think now, don't I?
I've been pretty brutal, to be fair. I've been pretty brutal. We're working the kinks out.
Oh God.
Guess away, by the way. I don't want you to feel like you've got to make. You haven't got one
okay.
guess. Guess away.
That's kind of how I felt. Yeah.
I'll give you 5 guesses. Shall we say that? 5 guesses.
So 360 game.
Yeah.
You can play as you can play. You definitely can play as a man or a woman. You get the choice.
Correct.
And then it has combat that takes a while to get used to.
Yeah.
Oh, is it one of the Mass Effects?
I need an answer, Jay.
Mass Effect 2.
Oh, Jay. It's Mass Effect 1.
Well, that's close enough. I got that.
Fair play. The combat Mass Effect 2 is great.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I feel like all the combat is a bit tricky, I guess, right?
Sometimes. Yeah, true. You did well.
Wow, I'm
not going to give you the point, but you did well.
I'll give you half a point on that.
All right, I'll give you half a point.
I mean, it's a Mass Effect, right? I guess, how many Mass Effects are there on 360? That's the question.
3.
Oh, well, there you go then. Essentially, I was a 33% chance I was going to get it. Okay,
well,
yeah.
Well, the last quote, well, nah. So, yeah. So it said, BioWare have shown just how far ahead of the curve it is with Mass Effect, yeah. Okay. All right. Did you enjoy that, Jay?
I did. That was actually quite, I had to, really rack my brain for a second.
Good. So next week's your go. Oh, I apologise. I haven't actually said where and who wrote it. IGN's review by Eric Bludvig.
Okay. So I can literally pick any game from any exclusivity or time frame.
Fire away. Fire away.
I'm actually gonna have fun with this.
Don't make sure I know it though, I guess, right?
Well, okay, so one that I think you'll know. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give you what's the game you wouldn't know? I don't know, but I'm not gonna give you it.
Okay.
So Jay, we're gonna round out the show now.
Yes.
So, what will you be playing, my friend?
Well, I wrote down, hopefully, more Death Stranding, but I don't know if I will. I've kind of had a break, actually. I haven't played a game since Monday or Tuesday, and it now being Thursday.
Okay, what have you been doing then? Just watching stuff?
I've been watching anime, actually. Although, actually, today I literally haven't done a single thing. All I did was watch a movie with Mother. That's what I've done.
Okay,
other than that, just YouTube. So I mean,
Yeah, no fair.
I don't know. I'm really in the mood for an RPG, so I need to find myself an RPG. I need something, or I'm tempted to go back to is it Outer Worlds? Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
the thing made by Obsidian. I'm tempted to go back to that because that is that type of thing, I guess.
Yeah,
a lot of dialogue options and weird missions and stuff.
Zero Horizon Dawn's always there for you.
Also, a game that I probably should or shouldn't play. I don't know. I mean, I still have it, so I need to do it eventually. But
I would be very intrigued if you actually got into Outer Worlds because I never got into it. So
I got into it enough for me to want to go back to it eventually, but not enough for me to want to finish it. Weirdly.
Sure.
I feel like it's very much like Fallout. You kind of have to really be in that Fallout mood.
100%. I was not. I'll be playing more Odyssey, of course, and finishing the Wolfenstein 2 DLC. So
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go back to Wolfenstein 2. Well, I didn't really start. I mean, I kind of started. I played the first maybe 15, 20 minutes of it.
When was that?
I think I actually played the first mission, so maybe an hour, just to sort of like see if I was bothered. But I mean, I liked it. It was just much of the same, really. I'm playing it more for the story than anything else.
I only played that. Well, okay, no. The story for me is one of the main driving forces of that game.
Oh, so that game could be a completely different mechanical game, and I'd probably still play it just because of the story. Like it could literally just be like a third person walking